Summary: with the help of his bloodline, the art of using fire, and his flame dragon eyes, Naruto will try to make his dream a reality. Watch Konoha burn to the ground. Naruto/Hinata manipulative, dark, smart Naruto. Prologue. The humans and the demons had always lived together in harmony ever since the end of the Dark Wars that created a new age for the both of them. The humans' victory in that war allowed them many new things such as jutsu, and to find and create new villages away from the demons that they once served under. One particular group of humans were able to get 5 gifts from a few of the demons. First was the power to make wood, flour, and even to an extent life itself. Second was to control water to an extent. Third was the ability to see all around and to see inside of a human. Fourth was the ability to summon their underlings, the summoned spirits, and finally the fifth ability to control the shadows. These 5 clans were the founders of the new village, Konoha. Afterwards, other villages were named and each the 5 major countries were created: the land of fire, the land of water, the land of earth, the land of lightning, and the land wind. Eventually more were named, and each had their own ninja village to within these countries. After many wars, Konoha had been declared the strongest of the ninja villages. It had almost everything in the village. First was the deadly Kage, Sarutobi Sasuke, who was trained under the founders of Konoha. He was said to have known over 1,000 jutsu and knew what each and every one of them did and what effects they had of the human. He was said to have been able to break down every jutsu that an army from even other nations and use it against them. Second was the students, the legendary Sannin, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. They were the only survivors in a major battle during the war in the Rain Country, and the famous General Hanzo named them the Sannin. Tsunade had not only the ability to heal anything but also was famous for her super strength and her crappy luck. Jiraiya was famous for his pervertedness but also because he was the legendary summoner of the Toads, the only summoner actually at the time. Orochimaru was famous for his incredible skill in ninjutsu and was on his way to learning all of them as his teacher. Sarutobi helped him. He was also learning illegal things such as how to become an immortal and left the village. The third thing was the jutsu that Konoha had, the Sharingan and the Byakugan. The Sharingan had the ability to see jutsu and break them down and even copy them in taijutsu forms. It also has the ability to cancel out genjutsu and create unbelievable ones as well. Then there is the final form of the Sharingan, the Mangekyo Sharingan, that not only has the same abilities but also has the ability to create 3 unstoppable moves: the Amaterasu, the Tsukuyomi, and the Susanoo. The Byakugan, which came before the Sharingan, has the ability to see 360 degrees and see through walls and faraway distances. It also has the ability to see certain points throughout the body called Tenketsu, and they use their taijutsu attacks called Gentle Fist to attack these points with as much fury. Finally, the reason that they were the greatest was because of one man, the legendary Namikaze Minato. He was known as the Yellow Flash during the Great War between the Rock Village. He was known for 2 attacks that were so powerful that it couldn't be copied by anyone, even the greatest. His first move was known as the Rasengan. He created it by using his chakra to create a ball of chakra and using it to tear through almost anything. The only thing was that was only the incomplete form. The second attack became known as the greatest and hardest attack of all time, the Hiroshin no Jutsu. It was an attack that allowed him to move faster than light itself by using a 3-pronged kunai to mark where he wanted to go and follow the mark and allow him to travel faster than anything. The only thing that the people saw was his sunshine yellow hair. This man was named the 4th Hokage by Sarutobi. Now here we have the said man who is happily living out his dream with his pregnant wife, Uzumaki Kushina, in the Hokage Tower. While this is the good life, Minato said as he held his dear wife in his arms. "You had to be happy. Nothing could ruin this day," Kushina said as she kissed her husband on the lips. Hokage-sama. There has been a spotting of a fox thing heading in this direction. The monster has 9 tails. It appears to be coming in this direction. A Jounin barged in and shouted, wait, a 9-tailed fox? What the hell?" Minato said. The Jounin just looked and appeared to be waiting for orders. "Go get me Sarutobi-sama and Jiraiya-sensei, and tell them to hurry," Minato said. "Minato-kun, Kushina-chan, just relax, we don't need anything to happen to the baby. Not now, we are so close, I will handle this as fast as possible," Minato assured her. "All right, but please don't do anything stupid," Kushina said. "I won't," he assured her and kissed her. Then in a flash, he was gone. "I won't live through this. I already know that. So I need to at least make sure that I can still get my friends to help my unborn son," she thought, and with a wave of her hands, she was gone as well. Namikaze Minato was pissed to say the least. The 9-tailed fox was on his way here and Kushina was dead. She died giving birth to his son, Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. There was no way to stop this monster, and the only way he had found was to seal it into something. If it had been less than 5 tails, then that wouldn't have been a problem. It was, however, a 9-tailed demon, so he had to seal it into a human. Great. Just fucking great. I hate this bullshit. He shouted as he was preparing. He put on his Umbu battle gear and was preparing to go to the hospital, then to the battlefield to fight the demon. Why not let me do the sealing? I can still do it. Sarutobi asked his successor. I'm the only one that can do it, Aji-sama. I have nothing left. Kushina is dead. This bitch want to screw with my family. I will make it pay. Minato said with cold eyes neither Sarutobi or Jiraiya had seen since the great battle that got him named the Yellow Flash. Minato, at least think about your son. He still needs a father in his life, Jiraiya said. I know, but who else can I get for the sealing? I can't just say, oh, I need your son or daughter to put a demon into their stomach. Besides, they will grow up to despise Naruto for not being chosen, Minato said. But they will hate Naruto for being chosen anyway. You've heard what has happened to the Kazekage. His son is hated. Sarutobi said. Don't you think I don't know that? Minato shouted as tears poured down his eyes. I know what will happen to my son, and Kushina knew we both wouldn't live through this. That is why she made 5 clans swear on their clans that they would help. The Nara, Akimichi, Hyuga, Aburame, and Yamanaka will help. And I am sure your clan will also, Aji-sama. Damn, where the hell is that unlucky healer, Tsunade, when you need her? I could have cashed in on that debt she owes me to take care of Naruto or something, Minato said. That might have worked, but it's too late for that. Jiraiya said, tears starting to form in his eyes as well. Yeah, but it's fine. All right, now time to get Naruto and begin this ass-kicking of a demon, Minato said, and in an instant was gone. We need to do something now. This boy doesn't stand a chance, Jiraiya said after his student left. I know. Since I will be Hokage, I will not let anyone in his age group know what conspired tonight with the sealing. Sarutobi said. That probably won't work. Damn, I wish there was something we can do, Jiraiya said. I mean, all we can do is train him and help him go all the way to the top, Sarutobi said. We will see, Jiraiya said. Minato appeared in front of the 9-tailed fox, and it looked out of control. Minato was standing on top of the boss summon of the toads, Gamabunta. Gamabunta took a look at the demon and began to take a smoke from his pipe and then spoke to Minato. Hey, wait a minute, that demon looks familiar, Gamabunta said. How you know that bitch? Oh, well, too little too late. Minato said as he prepared to do the hand seals for the final move. He did the final hand seal, and behind him stood the great Shinigami. Hey, Minato, that demon is the missing princess of hell, Melina, the 9-tailed fox. She has been missing for a couple of months now due to her being kidnapped, Gamabunta said. Wait, what? Minato shouted. Yeah, it seems she must have been summoned and is using this to look for her way home. Gamabunta said. Oh, fuck me sideways. We were tricked. Minato said. Damn, just seal her and I will explain what has happened to Jiraiya, Gamabunta explained. That might just be a good thing, Minato said and was prepared. He then gave a final goodbye to his son. Sorry about this, Naruto-kun, but this is the only way. I can't let the village be destroyed. Not just yet. Live a good life for me, Minato said and completed the sealing with his Shiki Fujin. In an instant, the beast was gone and Minato was dead. After Minato's funeral, many people were angry. They let the anger take control when Sarutobi announced that Naruto had the beast sealed inside of him. Many wanted the baby boy dead and almost rioted. It took most of the Umbu to stop the riot, and even then it was half-heartedly because they wanted the boy dead as well. Sarutobi was pissed with the villagers and was outright livid with the Council of Konoha. In Konoha, there are a total of 18 council seats. 8 are run by the village clans and the other 8 are ran by the village civilians. Most of the time, when the villages ran normally, there would be a vote. The only time a vote would not be cast would be when it comes to terms of a ninja such as exile, execution, or promotion. The Hokage also would have this say when there is a state of emergency. Now, Sarutobi was not at all a mean person, quite the opposite. Today, however, he would go into his mean streak that only his enemies have seen. You see, most of the civilian council and even his former teammates, who had higher council chairs, wanted to have the baby, Naruto, killed. Danzo, a man who ran the Umbu organization, Root, wanted the boy to be used as a weapon. Most of the clans, such as the Uchiha and Haruno clan, wanted the boy dead. Most unimportant clans wanted the boy used as a weapon. The 5 clans that stood by the boy through and through wanted to actually adopt the boy. Sarutobi cleared his throat to try to stop the arguing. Now here is what is about to happen. Sarutobi said, but no one was listening. Everyone was still arguing. Suddenly, the room began to get deathly quiet. This feeling shut everyone up in an instant, and Sarutobi started to speak again. First and foremost, we still are in a state of emergency, so I have final say in what happens. First, Naruto will be put in an orphanage until he is able to live for himself. Second, I am putting up a law that forbids anyone from speaking about the ceiling and telling their children. Whoever speaks about it will be killed, civilian or ninja, Sarutobi said. Many people were complaining, but there was nothing that could be done. This is going to be some hard times, but you will be able to get through it, Naruto. You are your mother and father's child, Sarutobi thought. Chapter 1. The nine-tailed fox, Melina, was currently bored. She has been trapped inside a human container for the past 8 years. She, however, is already dead. She has spoken to her container and is now his adopted mother. She had once tried to steer him away from his path of hatred and revenge, but somehow it just doesn't seem to work. Naruto had always been living in hell formerly known as Konoha. The adults beat him, try to kill him, ignore his pleas of help, and even use jutsu on him. They had betrayed him and made him act like a fool. The worst was on his 7th. He was hit with a deadly jutsu by an Umbu Black Op. Neither had known much about the man except for that one eye that he had, and that it sounded like a lot of birds chirping, and that was when she had given up. Melina thought back and was furious about how they had treated the boy. She had wanted to get out and kill everyone, but knew that she was already dead. The Shinigami was already eating away at her body, and all that she had left was her spirit, mind, and tails. So she decided to make Naruto into the next Demon King, since she would be able to train her son into not only protecting himself, but to also be the greatest ninja in the world. She would also help him in any way to destroy the village. Naruto was happy that someone was training him, and that he was like a son to her. He went along with the training and found out a lot about himself. First, he found out that his mom had an unbeatable bloodline limit. It was the ability to create fire. She was able to make fire from her hands and to even add it to her taijutsu, the Kuin-Enzuru. She was able to make a flame that was equal to power of that of the Amaterasu, the Ryusei fire god technique. She could also make her fire into wings and fly, and with her Kuin-Enzuru, it was as if she was dancing in the air. She could also make fire whips and even fire swords with her chakra. Her arsenal of fire jutsu was more than even the Uchiha, and she was almost immune to almost all fire attacks. Naruto was amazed by his mother and how much she knew. Then there was the second thing. Melina had accidentally gave him a new bloodline limit while healing his wound from his 7th birthday, the flame dragon eyes. These eyes were made to see fast movements and gave his body a power boost. His fire was 10 times stronger with these eyes, and he was able to block off any other Dojutsu with these. They made his eyes turn red with golden slits. She was really proud of his progression. He had not only fire, but he was also great with wind attacks and had a few in his arsenal, such as the Great Breakthrough Technique and the Wind Dragon Technique. He had also made up one called the Trade Wind Technique. It allowed him to direct the wind and have the wind tell him where someone or something was. He could also go to that direction and be at the spot he points the wind to go. Naruto was pissed off, to say the least. Today was his class's exercises in the woods. It was supposed to be training exercises for when you were out in the forest. Now, while Naruto didn't have a problem with it, he despised everyone and everyone despised him. There were some exceptions, such as his best friends, Nara Shikamaru, Aburame Shino, Hyuga Hinata, Namanaka Ino, Akimichi Choji. While he met everyone in the academy, he had known Hinata the longest. She was always nice and encouraged him, and he secretly had a crush on her. He knew Hinata because he had rescued her when she was 4 years old, and they had been friends ever since. He was on very high terms with her mother as well, and he thought was on good terms with the clan head, her father, Hyuga Hayashi. Then everything changed when Hinata's mother died. Everything that had happened was a lie. He wasn't even allowed to go near the complex anymore without beaten. He couldn't go near Hinata unless they were at the academy, and even then it was limited. Hayashi and the entire clan was showing their true colors as a stuck-up clan that thought that they were the best, just like the Uchiha clan. So Naruto despised them the most. He had exceptions to that as well, such as her cousin and some of the branch members. He also didn't hate Hinata's sister, Hinabi, but other than they were on his death list. Then there was his mask. He knew that he was maybe the most hated person in Konoha and that most of the kids hated him because of their parents, so he would try to put on a mask and maybe do a few pranks to try to change their minds about them. It also helped to try to take away the pain of being by himself, and even got the adults off his back if they assumed that he was too strong. Who would want a smart demon? Naruto asked himself. Sometimes, however, it would go a little too far. People would say things about him, and make fun of him, and call him a baka and an idiot and a dobe and a dumbass. While almost everyone except for a few others said it, two people tried to make it known. First was his so-called rival, Uchiha Sasuke. While with his mask on, that was his rival. With it off, he was nothing more than a spoiled brat. His clan was murdered by his brother, and he is known as the last Uchiha. Naruto, for the most part, didn't actually care about Sasuke. Hell, he was most grateful that his former mentor, Uchiha Itachi, killed them all. They wanted him dead, and almost succeeded in doing it on multiple occasions. So basically, Sasuke gets whatever he wants and takes it all for granted. He could ask to become Hokage while everyone else has to work for it, and Naruto hated it. To make matters worse, Naruto was better than him to tell the truth, and he knew it. If it wasn't for this stupid mask, Naruto would have graduated by now. Then there was his fan club. He hated all of the girls in it. While there was one exception, Yamanaka Ino, he despised them the most. They didn't even want to be ninja. They were just there to be with Sasuke. The one he hated the most was Haruno Sakura. She was the loudest ninja in the world, except for him with his mask, and even then it was just an act. Sakura was his crush that he showed with his mask on. He would always be around her and would mess with her already knowing the outcome. He hated doing this the most, and it was annoying to not be able to show his true crush any attention and to have to make a fool of himself. He would let her hit him and make jokes about him and everything. With his mask on, it wasn't a problem, but with it off, he would have killed her in an instant. Truth be told, everything about Naruto that the village knew was nothing but his mask. The only person to ever see him vulnerable was Hinata, and she consoled him and told him that no matter what happens that she would be there for him. He never forgets that about her, which is why he loves Hinata more than anything. As the trip went on, Naruto walked behind Sakura and Sasuke as she was badgering Sasuke about going out and eating lunch together. Naruto was just not paying attention to anything. He saw Shino and Hinata talking but knew they were friends forever. He saw Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino hanging around. He saw Kiba with some random weaklings of the class. Then he saw his favorite teacher, Irika, talking around and giving examples about what to do when in the wilderness. He turned around to see Naruto and just smiled at him. Naruto gave his few genuine smiles, as Irika was his older brother and he just gave him a genuine smile without even trying. So as Naruto walked, he didn't notice that everyone had just stopped and accidentally knocked down Sakura. Sakura had fell over and had fallen into a puddle of mud. "Oh, sorry about that, Sakura-chan. Here, let me help you up," Naruto said. "What the fuck, Naruto-baka? This was my favorite dress. I had brought it specifically for this trip, and you had to ruin it," Sakura shouted. "Well, sorry again. I'll make it. Sorry won't cut it, you annoying bright orange flea," Sakura shouted. "Whatever then. If you don't need help, then I will leave," Naruto said and began to walk closer to Irika. "That idiot. How dare he walk away from me? That dumbass," Sakura shouted. "Hey, forehead girl, just cool it. You were the one that said you didn't need help, so back off. You know that Naruto did that on accident. Besides, why did you wear your best anyways?" Ino asked. "To impress Sasuke-kun, of course. I want to win him from you," Sakura said. "You know I gave up on him last year. I don't care, but you of course will." "You were just saying that, Ino pig. I know what you were planning," Sakura said. "Whatever. But seriously, lay off with the Naruto jokes today," Ino said. Ino was like Naruto's sister. She was always standing up for Naruto since he was too nice to say anything back. So she would have his back whenever he needed it. "Why do you care about that freak? I mean, he is nothing close to Sasuke," Sakura said. "Big deal. Look, just be a little nicer today, Sakura," Ino said. She was always serious whenever she used the name of someone and not their nickname. "Why should I? I don't know why I should. I mean, Naruto isn't anyone important. He's just some dumbass orphan whose parents abandoned him because he was a monster," Sakura said. It was loud enough for everyone to hear. Naruto had his head facing the ground. "That stupid bitch. Naruto-kun." Hinata thought as she saw his face. Naruto had had enough and just ran off. Ino looked at Sakura and slapped her to the ground. "Shut up about Naruto being an orphan. Didn't I tell you to lay off for the day?" Ino shouted and ran to Irika to try and help look for him. "Sakura, that was cold even for you," Shikamaru said and ran off as well. Soon Shino ran in that direction as well and used his bugs to try to find them. Hinata didn't say a word, but just went off into the direction that he had ran to. She was the first to run off and search for Naruto. "I will deal with the pink-haired bitch on another day," she thought as she was running. Right now she had to be there for her Naruto and make sure that he was all right. "Come on, where are you, Naruto? Where the hell are you?" Hinata thought and decided to use her Byakugan. She did the appropriate hand seals and veins from her eyes stretched out. She could see further and everything was in black and white. Naruto was only a few yards ahead of her, and it looked like he was going to a clearing. The clearing had barely anything in it and saw Naruto just stop. Hinata stopped and was behind a tree. She didn't want to disturb him or was just too scared to just walk up to him. Either way, she had to see what he was going to do. If worse came to worse, she would still be there for him. She always would be. So she waited. Naruto was just standing there. The tears just wouldn't stop coming down his face. He just wanted them to go away. He wanted everyone in the village to go away. There were exceptions, but he wanted to disintegrate them. He wanted to watch everyone burn in flames. Fire suddenly surrounded his body. It began to leak out and go insane. The trees began to burn and catch on fire. The fire began to surround Naruto more and more. It was like an out-of-control picture. It was so beautiful to watch, but at the same time it was dangerous as well. Why? I just want to be happy. Why do I have to hide and not be able to show my ability? Naruto shouted as the fire began to spin around him. It was as if they were whips that surrounded his body. Meanwhile, Melina was looking on as she was watching what would happen when she noticed that the fire was spinning around him. Amazing. He has activated not only second form of the flame dragon, but also has activated the ultimate defense, the shadow fire whips. Nothing can get past them because of the heat. To make it worse, they have somewhat of a mind of their own. If they get a hold of you, you're screwed. This is a beautiful sight if I do say so myself, Melina thought as she looked from inside of her cage. Naruto then let out a cry and was about to allow his fire to obliterate everything in its path. Hinata stood there amazed at the beauty of the fire. They were acting as both Naruto's anger, his pain, and his tears. She could not bear it any longer. She had to go to the boy that had captured her heart and hold him as much as she could. She had to make it to him and tell him that she loved him more than anything. She had to, or he would destroy himself. Hinata could feel the force of the wind hitting her, making the heat much worse. She could feel so much anger and hatred coming from the boy, but she didn't care about that. She saw the fire spin around him, but didn't care and just walked on with almost no fear in the world. She had to stop him from destroying himself. Failure was not an option to her. She wasn't afraid about what happened to her. She would help the boy that rescued her when she was younger. She would save him from this pain and be with him no matter what he decided to do. Hinata had finally reached Naruto, who had noticed her and stopped shooting fire from his body. Naruto, stop. Hinata shouted as she held on to Naruto. Naruto didn't even turn his head as he knew exactly who it was. Hinata, let go, Naruto said in a deadly calm voice. Never. Please stop. Please, this fire, please stop it, and just let your pain go on my shoulder. Please. Hinata, Naruto-kun, please stop, I love you so much. I know you are in pain, so let me hold you, Hinata said as she stuttered out. Hinata-chan, why are you even caring? Naruto-kun, I am so hurt that you would say that to me. I love you. That's why. I would do anything for you. I am. I would be yours to use as a tool, a weapon, anything. Please just let me do that. Hinata began to cry. Hinata-chan, you really mean that, don't you? Naruto asked in amazement. Why, yes. Yes, I do, Naruto-sama, Hinata stuttered. Naruto was a little taken back by her using that specific title, but was really taken back by what she did next. She had bowed to him. I pledge myself to you and only you, Naruto-sama. Hinata said as she bowed. Hinata-chan, you have no idea what you are getting yourself into. You don't know me whatsoever. I am the most hated person in the village. Why? Hinata asked, still bowing to him, but looked up into his eyes. Naruto hesitated for a second. On one hand, he could tell her and she could hate him, and, well, that would just push him over the edge. On the other hand, she needed to know why she shouldn't pledge herself to him. Because I have the nine-tailed demon fox sealed inside of me. The fourth Hokage chose to seal her inside of me because he couldn't kill her. Now the village hates me because they see me as her. That is why you can't pledge. I don't care. I don't care one bit. I told myself that no matter what happened, I would stand by your side through and through. I am yours, Naruto-sama, so please give me a chance. Hinata stuttered, still on the ground at his feet. Hinata-chan, the path I am going on, I want revenge. As of right now, I want to watch the village burn. Can you really say that you can or will help me destroy Konoha? Naruto asked, for the first time without any fear, hesitation, or even a stutter in her voice. She spoke. Yes, Naruto-sama. You are willing to betray your entire family just so you could be with me? Naruto asked. Yes, Naruto-sama. Hinata said with no hesitation yet again. You will follow me no matter what people say and follow my orders no matter the consequences? Naruto asked. Without question or hesitation, Naruto-sama, Hinata said. Naruto took in a deep breath. He didn't know what to do. He didn't want someone he loved to be his servant. So he decided to go to a higher power. Ka-san, I am aware of the situation, Naruto-kun. It's quite funny actually, but personally, I say train her. She has little self-esteem and no self-confidence, but she loves you. You will be able to fix those problems in no time, Melina said. I don't want her to be my servant though. I do like her, and in time love her, but I can't make her my servant, Naruto said to her. She will probably follow you to hell anyways. You might as well put her to good use. You have the Byakugan now if you decide to use her. I have been watching for any signs of lying and she speaks nothing but the truth. She is scared because she thinks you won't give her the chance to prove that loyalty. If you train her in her element and in her bloodline, she would be a powerful ally and servant, especially since she would be the last anyone would suspect of anything. It also gives you the chance to have a spy within the village and get information without even a soul knowing, Melina said. All right, I will, Naruto said. All right, Hinata-chan, you may rise. For now on, you are my servant. Is that clear? Naruto said. Yes, Naruto-sama. Hinata-chan, you may not call me Sama in public unless we are alone. I don't want you to be known as mine just yet. When we get back, we will begin your training. I need you to be powerful, Naruto said. Yes, Naruto-sama. Now shall we go? Naruto asked with a smile on his face. Hinata nodded and looked at the boy in front of her. I will not let you down. I will prove myself to you. I am yours and only yours, Naruto-sama. Irika, Ino, Shikamaru, and Shino found Naruto and Hinata walking back in their direction, and Irika let out a sigh. Naruto, Hinata, don't ever run out from my sight again. I know you were upset, Naruto, and I know you wanted to help Hinata, but please don't do that again. It's too dangerous out here. We aren't in the village, so anything could happen, Irika explained. All right, Irika-sensei, they both said and went back to the camp. Ino asked Hinata what had happened and Hinata wouldn't say a word. She just said that she helped him as friends do. Shino and Shikamaru looked at Naruto and he wouldn't say anything about the situation. Neither of them pressed the issue as if it wasn't all that important. Later that night at camp, Naruto was having a conversation in his mindscape with his mother. Son, it seems you have a gift from your father, Melina said. What? Other than my speed and stamina? Naruto asked. He didn't hate his father, but he couldn't just meet him and instantly forgive him either. Yes, it seems that he left you the power of manipulation. It seems that he left you the power to manipulate and get them to see things your way through words. Sure, your power alone can do the same thing, but it doesn't quite the same effect, Melina explained. What do you mean, Ka-san? Well, basically, you can make people follow you through words and make them do whatever you want them to. You could get people to bow to you just because they want to, not because they have to. It works better with words than force because that person or group of people will want to follow you and won't even want to rebel. You could give straight bullshit information and get away with it, and everyone will believe you, Melina explained. Wow, my dad left me something that I can use, other than the Hiraishin and the Rasengan, that will work out nicely with my plans, Naruto said. That doesn't mean that it will work all the time, though. You will need to work on it and practice, but you will get it right, Melina said. All right. So what's the training tonight going to be? Naruto asked. Melina smirked and another intense training session began. Chapter 2. A year had passed since the day that Hyuga Hinata had become Naruto's servant. Naruto had started to help her improve in her skills and her taijutsu and speed. He also helped her with her self-confidence and how to spy and sneak and not get caught. Things that she already knew how to do considering that she was capable of doing all of things without Naruto seeing her. He also taught her how to suppress chakra without other ninja knowing it and how to use strategies. Then Naruto decided to go into her element and use it along with the gentle fist. Before she did that though, she had to get practice in using the water element, so they started from Naruto's secret hideout because it had a giant lake in the middle of it. Alright, Hinata-chan, you have to get a feel for what element you are doing and how to mold it, so the first move would be the Mizu Bunshin. Although it is a C-ranked attack, it shouldn't take that much chakra due to the fact that all you need is a big water supply and some chakra, Naruto said and showed her the hand seals for the technique. Yes, Naruto-sama, Hinata said and began to work on the technique. With that, Naruto had went into another part of his training spot to practice his shadow fire whips. Naruto was growing at a very fast rate. He had finally been able to find his signature move, the Phoenix Meteor Crash Ninjutsu. With his fire, chakra, and life force, he was able to make a phoenix and completely destroy anything. It couldn't be destroyed because if it is, it automatically comes back. Naruto also could control it with his thoughts and make it go anywhere. He was thinking about making a taijutsu version, but he didn't have anything to base it off of. Naruto had also made a follow-up to his trade winds technique, the tearing winds technique. Naruto would use the trade winds to get near an opponent, and since Naruto can't attack himself, he would send another wave of wind to attack his opponent. He could also fool the opponent by using them in completely different order or using other wind moves and follow up with these. He was also experimenting on using them with his fire element. Right now, however, he was just practicing his speed training with his shadow fire whips as he waited for his servant to finish. After a few moments, he decided to go get some herb tea. Hinata was tired. She had been working on this technique for over 2 hours. She understood the technique and could make 5, but why stop at 5, she thought as she decided to try to make 10, but then as she tried to make 15, she felt as if she was going to pass out and she fell to the ground. When she woke up, she was sitting by a tree and Naruto was drinking some tea. "Well, that will teach you not to try to pass your limits learning something new," Naruto said. "I am sorry, Naruto-sama," Hinata said with sadness in her voice. "For what? You did very well. How many can you make?" Naruto asked. "I passed out at 11, Hinata said. "That's good. So do you understand how to form things from water?" Naruto asked. "Yes. It isn't difficult as long as I have a source, although for a long time, it felt like I didn't need a source. It felt like the element was going through my entire body and I was controlling it," Hinata said. She may have something like my bloodline, but with water. Hey Hinata-chan, the day is almost up, so I will give you a scroll and I want you to read it. Since we don't have to go to the academy tomorrow, I want you to be here bright and early, Naruto said. "Yes, Naruto-sama," Hinata said and bowed and left. Naruto let out a sigh and decided to practice more with his element when he felt a ringing in his head. "Kaa-san, what is it?" "Naruto-kun, it is about time you start your connections outside of Konoha," Melina said. "I thought that I had to wait another year from training Hinata-chan. I still have till my 10th birthday, and that's not for another 7 months, Naruto said. "While that is true, the faster you get your connections, the better. You need to find the other Jinchuriki and get them on your side as well as others. Right now you only have 4 people on your side and 1 safe house, and that is nowhere near enough for what you hope to accomplish. The faster you get more support and more people, the better," Melina said. "While that is true, I can't leave just yet. The old man is going to be suspicious. He is already worried about me, and I suspect that he knows I have contacted you. That is why I need to wait till my birthday. I tell him that is my first time contacting you, and he lets me leave because the villagers are getting too much for me to handle," Naruto countered. Melina thought about it for a while. "All right, but you have to get more people on your side from within the village," Melina said to her son before cutting their connection. "That shouldn't be too difficult, especially since on that day, I will get Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji on my side," Naruto thought as he packed up and left. Time skipped 7 months later. Again, Naruto shouted at the 2 Hinatas, one being a shadow clone. The real Hinata had her eyes closed and waited for the attack to come. The shadow clone sent 3 giant water dragons at Hinata before disappearing. Hinata opened her eyes with her activated Byakugan. Her hand slapped away the first dragon. She then did a backflip of the second one, and she used her water whip to destroy the last one. "Great job, Hinata-chan. You have gotten faster. Your instincts are much better. You still need control over the element, but you will be great. You should do well by yourself," Naruto said. "Thank you, Naruto-sama," Hinata bowed. "All right then. This is the last week that you will see me for a while, so I have 3 assignments for you to do while I am gone," Naruto said. "Anything, Naruto-sama. All right, first, I want you to seek out another one of my spies within the village. Her name is Mitarashi Anko. Tell her that I said to help in your training with herbs and poisons and saban needles. You should find her at the dango shop every day between noon and 1 o'clock. Just give her this note," Naruto said as he handed her the note. "Second, I need you to get some more people on our side. Recruit people that may follow us. Try to get some of your family members that like you and myself and hates your father. Try not to get caught though. Third, beat out Sasuke for Student of the Year. I need to be put on your team, and if the way it goes, then I will be put on the Rookie of the Year and the Best Female. If you win, then I should be on your team. Are there any questions?" Naruto asked. "No, Naruto-sama. I will not disappoint you," Hinata bowed. "Good," Naruto said and walked up to her. He then kissed her on the cheek. "A reward for being such a good little servant," Naruto said before walking off. "I will not fail you, Naruto-sama," Hinata thought as she smiled and touched her cheek. Naruto was walking around Konoha. Today was his birthday and also the day the Kyuubi was defeated. He knew that today was the festival of the Kyuubi's defeat, and he also knew that it was almost night time. He would say his final goodbyes and then the plan would begin. He decided to go to his safe house for all of his spies and the place that anyone could get information from. Ichiraku Ramen Bar. "Hey, I am Nachon. Anything new happen?" "Nope. It has been a busy day, but no one came in here. So what are you buying, Naruto-kun? I am asked. A beef ramen and some herb tea, Naruto said. The usual I see. Coming right up. You hear that, Dad? I am shouted. Yep, it will be there in 5 minutes, her father, Tucci, shouted. So, Naruto-kun, where is your little girlfriend? I am asked. I don't know, I would assume that she went home to prepare for tonight. Naruto said calmly. Really? So how come you won't take her with you? It would be better than leaving her without her, Naruto-kun. I am laughed. She will be fine. Besides, I need her here to recruit people for my cause. It would be too much to try to do it when I come back, not to mention tedious. She will do fine. But I am Nachon. I need you to watch out for her, please. I do not need her getting hurt or anything bad happening to her while I am gone, Naruto said. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, I will personally watch out for her. I can't have my little brother's girlfriend hurt and make him all sad now, can I? I am said with a smile on her face. Yeah. But seriously, take care of yourself, and if you hear anything, just send out for Hinata, and she will get it sent to me, Naruto said. Here you go. This one on the house, Tucci said. Well, thanks, old man. You two be safe, okay, Naruto said. They both nodded and Naruto had finished eating. Thanks again, Naruto said. No problem, and tonight don't get killed. We don't want your plans to go down the drain, Tucci said. I won't. That isn't an option, Naruto said and walked off. Naruto, once again, began to walk in towards the festival. It would start soon, and he needed to have all the resolve he could get. He needed this plan to work because if he didn't, all of his plans were useless. He needed to get out of Konoha, but he needed a reason. He couldn't tell the old man that he was leaving to get connections to destroy all of Konoha. He couldn't even make him think on those lines. If he could make this his worst beating ever, to the point of near death, then not only that allow the old man to let him leave, but his friends will think that the villagers made him leave, and they will resent the village and turn against them, which is what he needed. So he looked at the sky and saw that the fireworks were beginning. It's time for my plans to begin, he thought as he walked into the festival. Hinata stood around her friends, Shikamaru, Ino, Choji, and Shino. They were 5 tight-knit friends along with Naruto. Each had their own way of thinking and used it with each other to help each other in times of need. Tonight was one of those nights for Hinata. She desperately needed some help. She was so nervous about tonight. Anything could happen in regards for the plan that was made. Her mission basically was to show the others Naruto as he gotten attacked and at the same time, not lose her composure. She still remembers that conversation she had with him a month ago. Flashback. Again! Naruto shouted and Hinata used the water whip to strike him. Naruto was having her use the water whip to be used as she used the gentle fist to block off the Tenketsu points from within the body. It was her first time, and she was failing miserably. She would either not reach or she would reach, and the chakra wouldn't be there anymore. The case was both this time. Hinata, that is wrong. Now try again. Naruto shouted, something that he never did unless he was extremely irritated or had had his mask on, and Hinata knew that it was the former. Come on, Hinata. Get this right. Get it right, Hinata thought as she prepared to attack again. This one reached, but didn't have any chakra. She was really tired and couldn't keep going. Damn it, Hinata, can't you get this easy thing right? Naruto shouted. I'm sorry, Naruto-sama. I will do better. Hinata said sadly. Damn it. This is the first move, and you can't even do it right. How am I supposed to start if you can't even get something right? Naruto said in an angry tone. Hinata just looked down at the ground. She had nothing to say. She could just apologize, but what good would that do? All she could do was wait and receive the punishment that was sure to come. That is what happens when she fails her father, so why not with Naruto? Tears was already coming out of her eyes, but not from her disillusions of pain, but from the sorrow that she felt from failing her master. She didn't want to let him down, but this move was just too much for her to do. She felt so useless right now. So she had her eyes closed and waited. Naruto saw the look on her face and softened up. He could tell that she was really trying, but in a month he would have to leave, and she needed to be stronger to make sure that everything that happens here stays in place. He couldn't have any screw-ups with anything, and he had to start from his servant. He didn't like to see Hinata cry whatsoever, but he couldn't help it. It was a lot of stress for a 9-year-old to plan and plot to outsmart a professor and maybe even god of Jutsu and destroy Konoha. So he did the first thing that came to mind. He hugged her. Stop crying, Hinata-chan. I am sorry, okay? It's just that I really need you to. Be stronger. The plan will commence in a month, and I need you to be stronger and take over while I am not here, Naruto said as he continued to hug her. Why you won't be here? Where are you going? Hinata asked. I will be leaving the village to find some people to help in my cause and to make a name for myself. So that is why I am pushing you so hard. You need to be able to take control if by some chance I can't, okay? Naruto said. Naruto-sama. If I may ask, how will you get Hokage-san to let you leave? Hinata asked. Naruto let out a deep breath and told her the plan. Hinata let out a nervous gasp. She wasn't expecting that, and it nearly broke her. Please, don't do that. Naruto-sama, what if you get killed? I don't want you to get hurt like that. Hinata cried. I know, and that is the plan, Naruto said. But surely there can be some other way. I am sure that if you just ask. Hinata-chan, if there was any other way, I would have used it already, but there isn't. I need to leave and get more people, and you will stay here and complete your end of the mission, Naruto said. Hinata looked at Naruto with a deep sense of worry, but knew that it was the only way it would work. She knew that he would be okay, and that Melina wouldn't allow him to die. Now, Hinata, your mission is simple. All you have to do is show our friends what is happening. That is it. You have to watch as well, though, Naruto said. I have to. Watch that. Please. I couldn't. Hinata said, begging. Why not? Naruto asked curiously. I can't just watch you get beaten. I might try to help. And she began to cry again. Naruto let out a big sigh and hugged her again. Hinata, you must be stronger than this. Right now you are showing your emotions in an unnecessary time. You can't do that. You must not show that you are sad or scared, or even if the time isn't right, happy. Sometimes you have to be impassive and unmoving. That will be one of those nights. Don't let your face or body show anger. Don't let it show anything. Can you do that? Naruto asked her in a serious tone that meant he wasn't expecting any failure if she said yes. Hinata looked at Naruto, and although she wanted to say no, she knew he would be disappointed, and she swore that she would never disappoint Naruto ever again. I am yours, Naruto-sama. I will not disappoint you again. Hinata said and bowed to him. Excellent, he said and kissed her cheek. For being such a good little servant, Naruto said. Shall we begin training again, Naruto-sama? Hinata asked, now smiling, and walked toward the lake. Yes, Naruto said. Hinata began to concentrate. I won't fail him. I am his servant. I will serve him. My Naruto-sama. Hinata thought and sent a water whip at Naruto and hit him. His shoulder went numb. There you go, Hinata-chan. You are getting better. That's good. We will go to a higher level tomorrow, Naruto said as he pushed chakra into the block Tenketsu. Hinata looked at her master and let out a sad smile. Naruto-sama. Yes, Hinata-chan? Naruto asked. She walked up to him and kissed him on his cheek. Please be safe, she said and walked home. In flashback, so there Hinata stood nervous and fidgety and she could barely control herself. Hey Hinata, are you all right? Shikamaru asked. I am fine, Shikamaru. Yes, she is just waiting for Naruto to show up, Ino teased. Don't worry, I am sure he will show up soon, Shikamaru assured. I don't know, I mean I have been here since I was like 4 and I have never. Quiet, Choji. We know Naruto never come to this thing, but we can't let Hinata know that she will be crushed, Shikamaru whispered. Come on, I am sure Naruto just want to get some ramen or something, Ino said. Why, yeah, I am sure he will be here shortly, Hinata said. In the meantime, why don't we play some games to pass the time by, Shino said. They all nodded and walked away. It's starting. Naruto-sama, please don't get hurt, Hinata thought as she walked away. Naruto was inside of the festival. He wasn't really doing anything except waiting around for midnight. That was when it would begin. For some odd reason, the villagers always came at him at midnight. Maybe that was when the ceiling was over. It was 11:30 now. He had nothing to do for 30 minutes, so he decided to play a few games. He knew that he was extremely lucky and that most of the booths were run by people who had a whole lot of money. Naruto had decided to take them out of their money, and that he did. He was able to close out 3 booths and had a total of $10 million in his small pocket. He made a quick stop to the Ichiraku and delivered that to them. They were quite surprised and somewhat happy. Although it wasn't theirs, the family knew that Naruto would give them some of his small profit. It was almost that time. Naruto was extremely nervous, but he also had a right to be. It wasn't every day that a boy who just turned 10 years old to actually want to get beaten to near death, but he knew that he had to do it. So Naruto had went to a shop that knew him and outright hated him and made some commotion. Get the hell away from here, demon brat. Who let you into this festival anyway? The shop owner asked angrily. What do you mean? I have every right to be here as everyone else, so shut the hell up and let me play a game, stupid old bastard. Naruto shouted back. Many people heard him, and some made the assumption that he was getting harassed by the demon brat. Hey brat, get out of here. Make me. Naruto shouted. The shopkeeper in the booth had had enough. This was the same demon that killed his family and left him by himself 10 years from this very day. He had hit Naruto to the ground. You know what? I have waited for this day for 10 years, demon brat. I will have my revenge for what pain you caused me and all the rest of the village," the shopkeeper said, and began to kick Naruto. Naruto would have rolled out of the way if this was a normal day, but today he had to take as much pain as possible. Naruto took the kick to the stomach and crushed it in pain. Fire was trying to seep out and attack the man, but Naruto knew he had to keep it at bay for just a little longer. Suddenly more and more people began to come and help join in the beatings, including Ninja. The beating continued, and soon, Naruto was hurt all over. "Please, stop. I didn't do anything wrong," Naruto cried out. He had kunai and shuriken wounds all over his body, and his clothes were torn. In his mindscape, Naruto was looking on, laughing at how gullible the villagers were and how easy it was to make them attack him. "All right, this is going well, almost too easy. This doesn't even really hurt me," Naruto thought, and Melina heard him. "The operation has begun. You might not get up for a few days, so I guess you should prepare your training," Melina said. "All right," Naruto replied and continued to look from his mindscape along with his mother. Then he saw Hinata and company and let out a smirk. Everything is going according to plan. Even Hinata-chan is doing her part, Naruto thought as he sat back on the cage. Hinata and company just stood there. Hinata had saw something like this when she was little, but she had also saw her mother help and get rid of the people doing it. Everyone else was new to this kind of violence, much less watching it, and unable to do a thing. "We can't just stand here and watch this," Ino cried. "I can't even move." "Why is this happening?" Shikamaru asked. "I don't know. But we have to do something," Hinata lied. She wanted to do something but couldn't due to it being her mission not to. Everyone else just couldn't because of fear, sorrow, or whatever emotion Shino was feeling at the moment. They all just stood there and watched in disapproval and sheer anger as their best friend was beaten to an inch of his life. The third Hokage, also known as Sarutobi, was in his office doing some paperwork when he felt that something was wrong. He knew this feeling well because it always had something to do with Naruto and him being in danger. So he decided to check up on the young boy that he considered his grandson. What he saw, however, made him reconsider his feelings for his village and the people who lived within it. Naruto was being attacked, and he saw children watching helplessly as it was being done. Sarutobi immediately called for his Umbu agents that looked after the boy. He had risen up and put on his cloak and hat and went outside. When he got outside, the 5 Umbu were standing there waiting for his orders. Naruto is being attacked. "This may be the worst yet, so let's get there fast," Sarutobi said, and they nodded and the 6 disappeared. Naruto had had enough. It was time to show them what he was capable of doing and let out his shadow flame whips. The fire surrounded Naruto and burnt everyone that was hitting him. The villagers began to get scared as they looked like tails and were swirling around him. "The demon fox has risen from the grave," one man shouted. "The fox is breaking free," another man shouted, and people began to scatter and run for their lives. The ninja had quickly got shuriken and kunai and started to use jutsu to try and subdue Naruto, but it wasn't working. The fire was protecting him. From the inside of his mind, Naruto was laughing at their stupidity. They didn't know anything. He just looked on and continued to control the fire from within. The ninja had stopped attacking when a jounin appeared. He had on a mask and had pointed white hair. He was tall and looked like a cyclops because his mask covered his right eye. "So it really is true, demon boy. Now I will be justified to kill you," he said and revealed his eye. "Wait, that's the man. He's the man that tried to kill me when I was 7. Naruto shouted to his mother. "He has the Sharingan. I do not know who this man is, but he must be strong to use that without being a Uchiha or having both of them. He seems to have only 2 commas, but that is more than enough considering," Melina said. They watched as the final piece that they didn't even plan on took effect. The masked man began to do 3 hand seals. He charged up his chakra into his right hand and electricity crackled to the point where it sounded like chirping birds. "Raikiri!" The jounin shouted and charged at Naruto. He pushed his lightning-covered hand into Naruto's chest, but the fire that surrounded him knocked a lot of power from the initial attack. The fire dwindled down and Naruto hit the ground and wasn't moving. The Hokage saw the jounin take his hand out of the boy. "Kakashi, what is the meaning of this?" Sarutobi shouted. The jounin known as Hatake Kakashi turned around and saw that the man known as the Professor of Ninja and the 3rd Hokage staring him with heated eyes. It isn't what it looks like." Save it, Kakashi. Hokage-sama. Why was Naruto-kun attacked?" Ino shouted. The Hokage was taken back when he saw the 5 children, forgetting that they were there for a minute. They had saw almost the whole thing. They were scared for their friend and were angry with their so-called village. "Ino-chan, that I cannot tell you, but we will make sure Naruto gets better," Sarutobi said. The children looked skeptical and saw Naruto's lifeless body. Umbu-san, get Naruto to the hospital and tell them if no one helps, so help me, they will never find a job as a doctor or nurse in anywhere ever again, Sarutobi shouted. The Umbu nodded and took Naruto and disappeared. 1 week later, Naruto had finally awoken. In the past week, since he was in his coma, he was training in the skills of seals, improving his fire and wind techniques, and he was getting faster. Since everything happened slower in his mind than in real life, to Naruto, it felt as if he was sleeping for at least a year. The affects from his mind went throughout his body, and it showed. Naruto had gotten taller and looked stronger than before. His hair grew longer, and he overall looked much older than his age let on. He looked around and saw that he was still in his orange jumpsuit and decided that he needed some new clothes. The doctor walked in and saw that Naruto was awake and smiled. Hello, Naruto-kun. I see that you are awake. I will go alert the Hokage immediately, the female doctor said and left. Naruto nodded and let out a deep breath. He knew that the hard part was to come. He couldn't let any hesitation or make the old man see that he was hiding something, or last week would be nothing more than a birthday beating. Naruto looked around and saw flowers and other different things from different people. He knew that the flowers must have been from Ino. He saw a bag of chips from Choji. He saw a book on tips and strategies for shogi from Shikamaru. Another was a pair of sunglasses from Shino. Naruto laughed at his, because that would help him in the near future. He saw a bowl and chopsticks and a card for ramen for a whole month from his family at Ichiraku Ramen. At least that is what it said on the bowl. He saw a bunch of cards from random people and laughed at the comments. Wow, this is interesting. Naruto as he saw Hinata's gift. It was a necklace. It was shaped in a red swirl like his, and the outside was blue flower petals or raindrops. Naruto couldn't tell. As he put the necklace on, Sarutobi walked into the room. Naruto-kun, how are you feeling? He asked with a smile on his face. Naruto smiled back and took a deep breath. I am fine, Aji-san, but can I talk to you about something? Naruto asked. Yes, go ahead. Sarutobi asked, a little nervous about what he wanted. I request that I be able to leave Konoha. You want to do what? Sarutobi asked Naruto. I want to leave the village. I am tired of always being attacked and made fun of and feeling like I am going to die the next day. I am only supposed to feel that when I am a ninja, not a ninja in training, Naruto said to Sarutobi. Sarutobi looked at him and let out a sigh. Naruto, I cannot allow that? He said in a serious tone. Why not? What could possibly happen? I am going to get out anyway on missions. If I can't survive growing up to become a ninja, does it have something to do with that fire coming from my body? Naruto asked. Sarutobi looked at the boy. He knew something was wrong but couldn't figure it out due to the boy's innocence. To Sarutobi, Naruto would always remain innocent and do no wrong. Sarutobi let out a sigh and began to talk again. Naruto-kun, it's dangerous to go out of the village by yourself. You could be killed and hurt. You could be attacked by bandits. I would rather be attacked by people I don't even know than to die know that I was killed in the place I am supposed to call home. Besides, it's not like I won't be gone forever. This fire that burns, I want to be able to control it, Naruto said with pleading eyes. The third Hokage looked at the boy and let out a sigh. Naruto-kun, is it because of this or the supposed fire that you feel inside of you? Sarutobi asked. Naruto thought about it for a second. He could blatantly lie to the old man, but Naruto respected him too much for that. So he improvised. I want to leave so I can know who I am, and if I really do belong in the world, Naruto said. The Hokage looked at Naruto and just sighed. All right, Naruto, fine, I will let you get out of the village, but where exactly are you going? He asked. The wind country and maybe rain and mist. Naruto said. 3 allied countries. Is that really all? He said, skeptical that Naruto would go to those places. Well, I was going to explore the fire country some and maybe go to water country, but after that I will be back to be a ninja. Naruto said, almost forgetting not to add bitterness in his voice, but luckily he wasn't caught by Sarutobi. All right, Naruto-kun, I will let you go, but be back before your class graduates from the academy or I will personally hunt you down, Sarutobi said. Naruto let out a gulp and nodded. All right, old man. And I will be much stronger and take your job, Naruto shouted. Note to self, wash tongue till the taste of saying that goes away. Again, Naruto thought as he said that sentence. The Hokage laughed and walked out the door. Naruto, don't let that fox manipulate you, Sarutobi thought as the smile faded from his face. Naruto collected what was left of his clothes and decided to collect his winnings from his safe house or bar, Ichiraku's ramen bar. Naruto, of course, gave some to his adopted family some of his winnings and told them to make the place much bigger by the time he got back. He then went to buy some new clothes. Naruto made a hinge into his alternate female self, Megumi. Everyone in the village knew her and loved her. No of the villagers knew about Naruto's hinge, and he only used it when he needed something such as food, weapons, clothes, and anything else he could think of. She was nice and generous to the villagers, and she was from the village north of Konoha who was living with her younger brother that lived here. The only people that knew it was just Naruto was Hinata and Shikamaru. So Megumi walked into the weapons shop and immediately the shopkeeper came to help her. It was the same person that helped in the attack a week ago. "Hey Megumi-chan, how may I help you today?" he asked with a smile on his face. Megumi gave him an angry frown and said, "Oh, the usual, some kunai and shuriken, and some new clothes for my little brother. How is he? I haven't seen him in a while," he asked. Naruto used a shadow clone and used a special hinge to make his brother, and then used the sexy no jutsu to transform into Megumi to prove that she had a little brother. He was attacked a few days ago, but he is fine. He wants to go back with mom and dad, so we are leaving and almost never coming back, Megumi said. "Oh dear, why?" the shopkeeper asked. He said how he would be friends with that Naruto boy and how he shouldn't be treated like he is. "You do know how our parents are connected with the daimyo, so whoever did it is as good as dead," Megumi said. "Oh, I hope that your brother gets better," the shopkeeper said. "He will, but this will be the last time I will be here," Megumi said, and picked out some black and blue pants and red shirts and 2 black coats. She then walked up to the counter and began to pay for the stuff. "Well, thank you for being my best customer, and again, I hope your brother gets better. This is on the house. Tell him it's a gift," the shop owner said. "Whatever," Megumi said and took the stuff and left out. Megumi walked into an empty alley and changed back into Naruto. He put his stuff into a scroll and walked home. When Naruto got home, he made some last preparations before he left. First, he would need to write a note to Shikamaru, Shino, Choji, and Ino to tell them everything and get them on his side. He would rely on Hinata to get them to join. Naruto wrote the note and went to look for Hinata. Naruto had found Hinata training. She was perfecting her own version of the Hyuga Gentle Fist, the Water Protection Fist, and using her first move, the Protection of the 64 Palms. Naruto watched as she hit the water that splashed around her and made it completely disappear. He was also noticing her body considering that she was in a bathing suit. "Hinata-chan," Naruto called out. Hinata paused for a moment and saw that Naruto was standing there. "Your speed for the taijutsu is improving drastically," Naruto said. "Thank you, Naruto-sama," Hinata said and blushed. "I wrote the note that I want you to tell to our friends as well, and I trust that everything will go well with you in charge," Naruto said to her. "Yes, Naruto-sama, I will not fail you," she said. Naruto let out his genuine smile and Hinata was mesmerized by it as usual. It was really rare for her to see one of his genuine smiles unless it was for Irika, and even then that was only when Naruto had done something correct. Naruto looked at his servant and used his speed to get in front of her. Hinata was startled but was able to stay on the water. Naruto put his arms around her and let out a smile and softly kissed her lips. "For being such a good little servant, don't fail me," Naruto said and disappeared. "I will not. I never will, Naruto-sama. I swear it on my life," Hinata said to herself and continued her training. The next morning, Naruto was at the western gates. The third Hokage was standing right there. "Naruto, don't do anything that will get you killed. I still have many things to tell you when you return," Sarutobi said. "All right, old man. I will be careful," Naruto said and waved goodbye and began his walk towards his first destination, the Wind Country. Chapter 3. Naruto was officially bored. He didn't have anything to do but walk. That was all he could do. There was no bandits anywhere, there was no towns for miles, and it felt like he was in a destroyed part of the forest. It had been 2 days since he left Konoha to look for some support for destroying Konoha and quite possibly make a village for himself. He didn't know what to name it though, and left that for much later. He walked through the forest, after what seemed like hours, and then over the edge of the forest and saw a town. "Finally, I thought I would be walking here forever. That would have been bullshit," Naruto said to himself and began to walk to the town and went into the inn and rested. The next day, "Damn, why do we have to stay here?" the young girl said. "So we can have a place to stay and not be on the run forever," the pale boy said. The girl let out a sigh and shook her head. "Damn this bullshit. I hate these people. They think they can use our power and get away with wronging innocent people out of their stuff and kill and do whatever they want," the girl said. The girl had a cap on her head and red hair. She was wearing a black shirt and black pants. She was carrying a flute with her. The boy was wearing a white shirt and a pair of blue pants. He had pale white hair and a weird scar on his chest. The boy said nothing but let out a serious cough. "Are you all right?" the girl said. "Yes, I am fine." Now be quiet so we can get what we came for and get out, the boy said. The girl nods and they walk into the restaurant. Naruto appeared in the town and decided to check into a hotel first and then get some information about how far the Suno was from here. I can't believe I forgot that map, Naruto said to himself. He had found out the name of the town was Tsujiko. It was the last stop in the Fire Country before you reached Wind Country. He also found out this place was corrupt and ran by this man named Naruto. He was in charge of the group called the Haburi, and they ran this town with an iron fist. They had powerful mercenaries and also had two weird children that had special powers. One boy had bones as weapons and had a weird scar on his chest. The other used a flute to kill anyone that heard it. Naruto was intrigued by this and sought them out. After some time, no one wanted to talk about them anymore and was almost scared for their lives. Not like Naruto could blame them. Giving up for the time being, Naruto decided to walk into a restaurant. You should be able to handle this. All you have to do is... Naruto stopped as he saw Naruto walk in. Hey kid, what are you doing here? Naruto said to Naruto. Naruto wasn't even paying attention to the man. He was too busy looking at the two kids that looked to be at least 4 years older than him. Naruto, those two. I can sense the same emotions as you. They want acceptance and to have friends and family. This could be a chance for you to pick up 2 new recruits, Melina said. I don't know. They seem to have more than enough friends, Naruto said back to her. Trust me when I say that those 2 will be good recruits considering that the boy is from one of the greatest clans in Kiri. He has the ability to use his bones as weapons and that girl is a shaman. She has the flute of the Doki 3. 3 very powerful demons that are part of a clan that used to reside in Cloud Country. I have no clue where that clan is now. I don't know why these 2 are here, but it could be possible to pick these 2 up for your cause. They seem desperate enough to follow your orders. You just have to show that you are strong enough to lead, Melina said. Am I that strong yet? Naruto asked his mother. I believe that is something that can only be answered by yourself, Naruto-kun, Melina said and turned off the connection. Hey kid, are you alright? You blanked out for a while. You wouldn't answer any of our questions, the boy said. I am fine. Could you repeat the questions? Naruto asked. Your name, and what do you want? The pale boy said. Uzumaki Naruto. Want food? And you are, he replied. Kagaya Kimimaro and I sort of help run this. We are closing up right now, and I will have to ask you to leave, Kimimaro said politely. Oh, okay then. Naruto said and stood up and left. See you later then, Kimimaro-san, he said as he left. Anyways, before that little inconvenience showed up, I was telling you your mission. That place has been causing too much trouble for way too long, and I want it taken care of, Naruto said. It's an orphanage. There is no way in hell I will attack that place, the girl said. What did you say, you little piece of shit? Listen here, Tayuya. I found you too, and you two work for me. I can make you two do whatever I want, so you will go there and destroy it to the ground, Naruto said. We will as usual like an explanation on why we are destroying an innocent place, Kimimaro said. Naruto gave a chuckle and said, my enemies are there using that place as a shield for themselves, and I want you to destroy them and make me unstoppable, Naruto said. All right, we will go, Kimimaro said, and with Tayuya, walked to the back of the restaurant. Boss, what's really going on here? Naruto's lackey, Samson, asked. Quite simple really. I have arranged for those 2 to meet unfortunate accidents tonight. They're strong, but I know everything they are capable of and will use the mercenaries I have hired to kill them both, Naruto said. Is that a little unwise because the people fear you because of them? We might not be able to make up for their deaths, his other lackey, Jason asked. That may be, but by tonight this town should be under my control and those 2 may try to overpower us one day, Naruto said, and then he looked to see if they were there. Besides, I don't want these 2 freaks around me. They make our image look bad, and we need our image as pure as possible, Naruto laughed. The other 2 joined in that laughter and didn't even notice the small blonde-haired boy sneering in anger at the thought. I will make them pay for this, he thought as he went to prepare. Hey Kimimaro-kun, what do we do after this? Do we leave or stay? Tayuya asked. I don't know, but you were right earlier. We cannot stay here. We might have to head north to Suna and maybe after that go to the Earth Country, Kimimaro said. As long as we don't head into the Water Country or grass, then we are fine, Tayuya said. Are you still afraid that Orochimaru-san will find us? Kimimaro asked. Yes, but I just don't like the grass. It always gave me the creeps. Tayuya said. That place was said to be the place where the snake contract was forged, and it is also the place where Orochimaru was said to have gotten his powers after he left Konoha, Kimimaro said. Shall we get this over with? Tayuya asked. Fine. May Kami have mercy, Kimimaro whispered and Tayuya nodded. The 2 got to the orphanage on top of a hill just east of the town and saw Naruto sitting on the steps of the orphanage. May I help you too? Naruto asked. Please step out of the way, Naruto-san. We have business here, Kimimaro said. Really, because I heard that there was people here, and I wanted to know who they were, Naruto said. Look, you pipsqueak, stand aside before we fucking kill you. Taiyuya shouted. I can't let you do that. Besides, there is no one here anyways, so there was no point of even coming here, Naruto said. Really? So you were a spy sent to stop us? Kimimaro asked. No, I am just that concerned guy that wants to know who you two really are, Naruto replied. Kimimaro, let's kill this guy, he could be a spy. The moron will tell us to kill him anyway, Taiyuya said. I suppose. Naruto-san, prepare yourself, Kimimaro said, and pulled a bone out of his skin. Damn, that is almost as creepy as Shino's bugs. Almost, Naruto said to himself. Taiyuya began to play her flute. Naruto got into the defense form of his taijutsu form and waited. Taiyuya started with a wind attack caused by her flute. Naruto easy sidestep just to find Kimimaro swinging his bone sword at Naruto. Naruto used his shadow flame whips to block the strike. Naruto then used them to try and stab Kimimaro in the chest, but Kimimaro slashed it away. Naruto jumped from behind the fire and tried to kick Kimimaro, but Taiyuya used her flute to block the strike. Oh hell, this is gonna be fun. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said, and created 7 clones. They went to fight Taiyuya, and the real Naruto was staring down Kimimaro with his shadow flame whip spinning around him. Naruto sent 3 whips at Kimimaro, and Kimimaro drew another bone sword. His sword was cutting through the fire, but the bones would break, causing him to have to make more. Naruto took the opportunity to do some hand seals. Katan, Mystic Fire no Jutsu, Naruto said, and fireballs came from his flame whips. Kimimaro gracefully dodged them and jumped toward Naruto. Naruto jumped back and used the momentum to charge at Kimimaro and kick his chest. Kimimaro pushed bones from his body and covered the part that was attacked. Naruto jumped back and from his hands threw fire at Kimimaro. Kimimaro dodged and sliced through them with ease and charged at Naruto. Kimimaro began to thrust his bone sword at Naruto, and Naruto dodged and blocked the shots. Naruto also began to counter the strikes with kicks and also used his whips to strike Kimimaro. Oh fuck. My first fight is against an elite. How fun is this shit? Naruto said, taking a breath. You were pretty well. You must be a Jinin, Kimimaro said. Nope, just a 10-year-old on a journey, Naruto said, and made 2 fire whips appear in his hand. Naruto then began to spin them around and threw them both at Kimimaro. Kimimaro blocked the attacks and dodged them. Naruto then used his shadow fire whips to create more whips and attacked Kimimaro. The fire started to take the form of a dragon and spun around him. Kimimaro was surprised that they were spinning and couldn't find a way to escape. Ninpo, Uzumaki Dragon Assault, Naruto shouted. The dragon surrounded Kimimaro and moved in closer and closer. Soon, Kimimaro was surrounded by 3 dragons made of fire that made a whirlpool and engulfed him. Oops, didn't mean to overdo it, Naruto said, but suddenly felt a chakra spark. Taiyuya was having crappy luck. These shadow clones wouldn't leave her alone. She would one minute be attacking one when another one would appear and force her to dodge or block. In the beginning, she was amazed that a kid that was younger than her was able to use the Kage Bunshin, and was even more amazed that they were strong. Since they were at the same level as the original, it meant the kid was strong. She tried to summon her Doki, but every time she would go to play the song, it would be interrupted by a shadow clone. She looked over and saw that Kimimaro and the kid was tied and was amazed considering that he was the strongest of the Sound 5 followed by her. She played her flute to do some wind techniques but found out that he was also a user of the wind element. As a matter of fact, his wind moves were much stronger than hers. Damn kid, you are good, but it's time to end this, she said and jumped into the air. 2 of the shadow clones followed while the rest used the shadow whips to try to grab her. Taiyuya threw kunai at them, but it had no effect and grabbed her foot. The shadow clone then threw her to the ground. Fuck, I want to use it so bad, but I refuse, Taiyuya said as the dark chakra began to surround her body. Taiyuya pushed it back and got up from the ground and prepared to fight again. Taiyuya then saw Kimimaro engulfed by the whirlpool of fire and went ballistic. Kimimaro KUN, that's it shithead. Playtime's over, she shouted and allowed the black chakra to surround her body. Tattoo-like marks began to surround her body. The Naruto shadow clones were looking in amazement. Let's play, bitch, she said in a sinister voice and suddenly felt Kimimaro's chakra spike. She turned her head and saw the fire going away and black chakra surrounded and destroyed the fire that surrounded him. Then she played a song on her flute. Kenjutsu, Wild Wind no Jutsu, she said. The wind began to blow fiercely and blew all the Naruto clones away, destroying them. She then went back to help Kimimaro. Naruto just let out a smirk as Kimimaro stood there appearing unaffected. Hey, you are okay, he said smiling, but then noticed the mark on his chest and the markings across his body. He then saw the same on Tayuya. Hey, wait, you two have cursed seals. Does that mean Orochimaru is here? Naruto asked with a frown on his face. No, he is not here. We escaped him a while ago, Kimimaro said. Escaped? Why did his experiments finally get the better of you, or were you two next? Naruto asked. That is no concern of yours, so shut the fuck up. You have ruined everything, Tayuya said. Really, because I just saved you two from death? You two actually owe me, Naruto said. So, it was true, Kimimaro said, and forcing the cursed seal to go back down. Yes, it was, Naruto said. Wait, what are you talking about, Kimimaro-kun? Tayuya asked, and did the same thing. What your friend is saying was that you two were about to be ambushed. He probably came to that conclusion when he saw me already here. I was here to eliminate them, and did so, Naruto said. Then why were we fighting? Tayuya shouted. Simple. I wanted to test you two abilities and see if you were capable of being part of my little group. You two are very strong, so I am recruiting both of you, Naruto said. The two looked at him like he was insane. Wait, you wanted to test us? Tayuya asked in an angry voice. And I wanted to test myself. You are as good of a strategist as my best friend, Nara Shikamaru. And Kimimaro-san is at least at par with any jounin that I have ever seen. My mother told me that you two were from powerful clans, and truth be told, I didn't believe it. She just laughed, told me that this was the perfect opportunity to test both of you, and to show you that I am a capable leader, Naruto explained. What exactly are you planning to do? Tayuya said. That I don't even know anymore. I will tell you the truth. I wanted to destroy Konoha and make it pay for hurting me and making me and my family suffer. Now, however, I am not sure. I could make a village, but that may be much later. Naruto said. Why destroy Konoha? Kimimaro asked. I have the Kyuubi no Kitsune sealed inside of me. Konoha sees me as the demon that attacked the village and caused all 10 of my years to be the worst of all human beings. So I wanted to, but now the world is just out here, and if I form a village, I might be able to stop what has happened to me happen to others like me, Naruto said. You mean Jinchuriki? Kimimaro asked. I mean all rejects, outcasts, anyone who wants a place to go. As long as they are loyal to me, and anyone I say be loyal to, I don't care. I just need help getting it done. I need some more followers and spies so that this could work. I also need to find other Jinchuriki so that we can work together, Naruto said. Well then it seems like a good cause, so I suppose that I don't see why not, Kimimaro said. Kimimaro-kun, what if he ends up using us like everyone else, Tayuya said. I don't use anyone. Most of the people that are followers are willing participants. I don't want slaves. I want loyal friends, human and demons or half-demons, that will follow me in my plans and dreams, and in return, they will have their dreams come true, whether it is power or acceptance or hell even to kill someone. I will personally make sure of it. I have honor and my own pride to not betray anyone that is my friend for anything, Naruto said. Tayuya looked skeptical and looked at Kimimaro. She could tell that he was going to follow him and knew that Kimimaro had some bad choices but wouldn't let anything happen to her. That is why they were away from Orochimaru. That is why they were here now. If Kimimaro-san is going, then I guess I will as well, Tayuya said. Going? You three will not be leaving this place alive, a voice said, and out from the shadows appeared Naruto and his mercenaries. Oh really, because I think that we will be walking out of this place with not even an added scratch on us, Naruto said. Really? What can three freaks like you do? Naruto asked. Naruto just let out a smirk. He looked at Kimimaro and Tayuya and nodded. Tayuya activated her cursed seal and played her flute, for the three doki appeared. Kimimaro also went cursed seal and pulled out 2 bone swords and pointed them towards Naruto. Naruto made 2 flame whips. 3 just waited. Don't just stand there, fools. Destroy them, Naruto said. The mercenaries charged at them. Is that the best you could do? Naruto laughed and used his whips to stab the first person that approached. Then he charged forward. Kimimaro soon followed and was slicing through the mercenary army. Tayuya stayed back and had her doki help fight, and used her wind jutsu to help as well. Who are you guys? Why can't you be beat? You are just children, Naruto asked. It's quite simple really. We are the best. Naruto shouted and impaled him with his fire whips and burned him inside out. Shall we go back into town and leave in the morning? Naruto asked. Kimimaro and Tayuya looked at him and nodded. Hey, you still didn't answer my question. Why did you two leave Orochi team? Naruto asked. Kimimaro looked at Tayuya and then at Naruto. That is a question for another day, he said. Oh, I get it. You two wanted to be together, and he said no, and you two ran away. Naruto asked. Again for another day, Kimimaro said calmly. Why are you dash? Would you leave Kimimaro-kun alone? Damn, you were such a child? Tayuya yelled, forgetting that Naruto was a child. You were 14 and 15, right? I'm 10 years old, so I am a child. Naruto said. What? We are following fucking orders from a 10-year-old. Tayuya shouted. Actually, too. When we get back to Konoha, my first servant will have the ability to boss you two around as well. She is nice and kind, though, unless she changes, and is in charge of you if I become unable to continue or absent, Naruto said. Oh fuck no. I will not follow orders from children younger than I am. Tayuya said. You couldn't even beat my shadow clones. So how will you beat me? Naruto asked. Well, you just got lucky. If we were to fight for real, then I would have beaten you to a pulp. She shouted. Kimimaro just looked at the two and shook his head. Tayuya and Naruto, please be quiet, he said, and began to cough violently. Tayuya quickly grabbed him and patted his back. Hey, you got a hotel room? Tayuya asked. Yeah, let's go, Naruto said, and they left quickly to get Kimimaro some rest. In Konoha, you let that demon leave? Danzo practically shouted. Yes, he requested to leave. He will be back in 2 years. I have sent my 2 students to look after him. That probably isn't why you said that, though, is it? Sarutobi responded. Have you gone senile? What if other countries find out about it? What if he is tempted to go to another country and stay? They will find out and use his power to destroy us all, Koharu, the Elder Council said. I assure you that Naruto will not be in any danger. He has promised me that he will return. I know he will keep his promises, Sarutobi said, putting emphasis on the phase, keep his promises, and many knew what he was talking about. Is that all? Because I have a lot of paperwork to do, Sarutobi said, and was about to leave. No, Hokage-sama, there is another issue. We would like to know who your successor will be, Danzo said. Anyone but you. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, you are dismissed, Sarutobi said, and left, being followed by the rest. Everyone had left except for Danzo, Koharu, Hamaru, and Hayashi. So what shall we do about the brat? Danzo asked. What can we do? I told you, Hayashi, that you should have killed him in the past, Hamura said. Well, it wasn't my fault. I had to make the appearance that I accepted the boy so I can be closer to finding out my wife's bloodline. I don't think that it was worth it, Hayashi said angrily. Well, what shall we do about your daughter? Danzo asked. Hanabi will of course run the clan, and Hinata will be put in the branch clan. Hayashi said. Why not just marry her off to Sasuke? You know that will be useful to Orochimaru-sama, Danzo said. That doesn't sound like a bad idea, but I need to talk to the Hokage about that, Hayashi said, and walked out. This is beginning to become a nuisance, Kohara said. I know, but we will have control over the village like we rightfully deserve, Danzo said. I just hope Sarutobi doesn't suspect anything. If he finds out, then we are royally screwed, Hamura said. Don't worry, he will not find out, Danzo assured them, and walked out as well. The other two nodded and walked out as well. With Hinata, Hinata was waiting in the secret spot, waiting for her friends to show up. She was ready to get them to join Naruto-sama. She knew that since he left, things had changed. All of them had cut themselves off from the village and missed Naruto extremely. She had missed Naruto the most, she could bet on it, but it was either Shikamaru or Ino with close second. She had, however, distractions to get over him to a point, such as her training with Anko-senpai and her guardian, Kurenai. She had told her about what she was doing, and with the help of Anko, convinced her to join. She had also got the differences settled with her cousin, Niji, and convinced him to join as well, but it was due to her promising to get rid of the cursed seal of the Hyuga. She had also got her little sister, Hanabi, to join along with mostly all of the branch members except the ones that were too scared or too loyal to Hayashi but would most certainly never rat her out. To most of the class, people like Kiba and some unknowns didn't care, and Sasuke and Sakura were actually glad. Sasuke actually talked to Sakura about him being gone, but that lasted 3 minutes. Hinata was angry but knew that she couldn't do anything. She just had to follow her Naruto-sama's orders and complete the plan. She began to beat out Sasuke and everything. Her grades began to slowly pass his, and it made not only him but also his fan club angry. Then she began to start her true mission, which would be simple enough. All she had to do was wait and see if they show up or not. A few moments later, Ino, Shikamaru, Choji, and Shino appeared and looked at Hinata, who was standing on top of the water protected by Hanabi at the left and Niji at the right. So Hinata, do you mind telling us why you had us sneak out this late at night? You know how troublesome my parents are, Shikamaru said. Simple. You wanted to know why Naruto was attacked and why he really left, right? Well, I am here to tell you, Hinata said with a smirk on her face. Everyone's eyes were on her as they waited for the explanation. Okay, long story short. Naruto has the Kyuubi no Kitsune sealed inside of him. That is how the fourth Hokage beat the beast. Naruto was attacked because he had the demon in him and the villagers only see him as the Kyuubi. So he left to get stronger and to get revenge on the village. He wants you all to help, Hinata said. Everyone looked at her like she was insane. Are you serious? Ino asked. Yes, I am. He was planning revenge for the past 3 years now. I have been his servant for the past 2, Hinata said. You mean when he ran off during our class? Wait, what do you mean servant? Ino said. I mean what I said. His servant. I am his tool, weapon, and will do anything and everything he asks, Hinata said. That sounds so wrong. Shikamaru said. Shut it, Shikamaru. Hinata shouted. Has Naruto taken advantage of you like that? Ino asked, curious, but with an evil smile on her face. No. He never would. He is not like that, and you know it, Ino, Hinata said. I know, but I thought I could make you blush. You never do anymore, Ino said. Well, after years of training with Naruto-sama. But that's beside the point. Point is, are you in or out? Hinata asked. The four thought about it for a moment. They did have some resentment for the village and making their friends suffer, but they did have their parents and family to think about. If you were thinking about your families, there is no need to worry. Naruto won't involve them in anything. It is just you alone, Hinata said. That made them think some more. All right, I will go for it. Although the blonde-haired maniac is a troublesome bastard, Shikamaru said. I am in as well, Shino said. I guess, to help my little brother out of trouble, Ino said. I suppose. Choji said. Good. Now tomorrow we will meet back here for training, Hinata said. What? They said at the same time. You heard me. Naruto-sama doesn't want any weaklings, so we will begin training. My teachers will help you in doing training, so be here at 6 a.m., Hinata said, and with Niji and Hanabi left. Chapter 4. Damn it, how fucking long is this stupidest desert? Taiyuya shouted as they continued their walk through the deserts of the Wind Country on their way to the ninja village, Suna, the hidden village of the sand. We have been here before, Taiyuya, if you don't remember. We are almost there from here. At least we are traveling at night, or we will burn. As we should have did earlier, Kimimaro said. That is interesting. Tell me about Suna then, Naruto said. Suna is a ninja village, as you know. It is the fourth strongest when compared to the others, but that doesn't mean that it is weak by any means. The Suna village is famous for their wind attacks, their strong puppets, and of course the rare ability to control sand. When we were there, the people were scared of a child. He didn't look no more than 5 years old. I don't know what has happened since then, Kimimaro said. Scared? Do you know why? Naruto asked. He had the Shikaka sealed inside of him at birth and had his mother killed while sealing it inside of him. I don't know what has happened since then though, so his state of mind could have worsened, Kimimaro said. Shikaki, damn, must sucks to be that kid. Shikaku is insane, and I mean insane. To make it worse, she is weak as hell compared to me, but she is still strong. She has a mean bloodlust with that sand of her, and to make it worse, she loves to fight strong opponents. She doesn't stop until she has tasted blood. She is a very flawed demon, however, and I will explain how later. Melina told Naruto and went back to sleep. Well, this is interesting to say the least. I just got finished listening to Kaa-san, and she told me that Shikaku is an insane demon and what he does. We have to find this kid. Do you know what he looks like or something? Naruto asked. All I remember is that he had red hair, Kimimaro said. Last time I remember being in Suna, every fucking body have either red, black, or blonde hair. That narrows it down, Taiyuya said. Quiet down, Taiyuya, Kimimaro said. Well, then we might be here a while then, huh? Naruto said. Oh, joy being stuck in the deserts of Suna for a long period of time, Taiyuya said sarcastically. Yep, and we will have as much fun as watching you get beat by a cactus. Naruto laughed. Shut the fuck up, brat. Taiyuya shouted, putting emphasis on the word brat. Naruto just looked at her and laughed, still remembering her lose a fight to a cactus. Flashback. The three had just entered the deserts of the Wind Country. They had left the town of Tsujiko and was rewarded with new supplies and made heroes of the town. Naruto had also found out that Kimimaro was suffering from a sickness. He had asked his cousin, but she said the only ways to heal it was to remove the cursed seal which would kill him. Have a life healer, a group of people that were believed to be extinct and the odds of finding one was slim to none. Or given the blood of an immortal, and she was sealed inside him, only a floating spirit, and he was barely able to get 2 tails. Naruto told Kimimaro his options, and he just said that it was his problem and that he would live on. So anyways, the three were walking through the desert in the daytime, and that would be their last time as well. Oh hell no. I never want to walk in the day ever again, Naruto said. Well, this was your brilliant idea, Tayuya said, drenched with sweat. Kimimaro was the only one that didn't seem affected. Well, Mr. Bones here isn't even hot, Naruto taunted. No, that is untrue, Naruto-san. I am affected, but unlike the both of you, I don't need to show it, Kimimaro said. You really have to help me improve my skills at doing that, Naruto said. It's not difficult really, but okay, Kimimaro said. An hour had passed, and to the three, it felt as if it was getting hotter. None of them knew any water jutsu, and Naruto and Tayuya were losing it. Oh my fucking god, can we please find a town? Tayuya said. There aren't any towns for another 6 miles, I think, Kimimaro said. Look at the sky coming down at you, Naruto sang. The heat began to make him delusional, and this caused Tayuya to be angrier, along with the fact that it was hot as hell. Shut the fuck up, Naruto, before I kill you and bury your body into the sand like. Oh look, water, Tayuya said. Naruto jumped up in surprise, and Kimimaro didn't see a thing except a cactus. Tayuya, there isn't anything there. You are suffering from delusion. This desert plays tricks on you, he said to her. Shut the fuck up and let's get some water, Tayuya shouted and ran to the cactus, which she couldn't see or tell was there. Kimimaro, is she going to go bye-bye soon? I want the money by Saturday, Naruto said and slouched over on Kimimaro's arm. Kimimaro just looked at the blonde child and let out a sigh. I am surrounded by babies, he thought as he began to carry Naruto on his back and caught up with Tayuya, who was in a heated argument with the cactus. Let me get some water, please. I just want a little bit. I promise I won't take the whole lake, she said to the inanimate object. It didn't say anything back, and Tayuya got angry. Why won't you say anything, you stupid guard? She shouted and tried to slap the cactus. She forgot or was too delusional to remember that cactus have very sharp points, and she got stabbed in the hand. The scream caused Naruto to wake up, and he saw Tayuya in pain. What's going on? Are we under attack? Naruto asked. No. Tayuya tried to attack a cactus and the cactus won, Kimimaro said. Naruto looked at Tayuya and burst out laughing. Shut it, blonde rat. Tayuya managed to shout without being in pain. Oh, go fight a cactus. Naruto laughed. It amazed Melina because it was the first time that she had ever heard Naruto ever laugh a real laugh. The boy needs to leave Konoha, she thought, and chuckled at the situation as well. Naruto wouldn't stop laughing and then fell asleep. Tayuya, with the help of Kimimaro, got the needles out of her hand and rested. They all woke up and realized how nice the desert was at night. So they began to travel at night and sleep in the day. In flashback, shut it. I was delusional and didn't know what it was. It was just lucky I didn't summon my Doki to destroy it, Tayuya said. Oh, Joy summoned demons to fight a cactus. You suck, Naruto said. A better ninja than you are though, Tayuya said. You wish, Naruto shouted. Both of you. I see the city walls. They know both of us, so it should be easy for us to get into the city. Naruto-san, what is it we are trying to do again? Kimimaro said. We have to find the container of Shikaku and get him to join us. It shouldn't be too difficult if we can find him. I also need to find someone who can teach me more wind techniques. It would be best to leave in at least 3 weeks, maybe a month, but no longer than that unless it is completely necessary, Naruto ordered. Hi, Naruto-san, they both said and began to walk into the village gates. Halt. What are you doing here? The guard asked. We are here on business for Otogakure no Sato. We will like to inform the Kazekage that we are here, Kimimaro lied. Orochimaru-san didn't inform us that anyone was coming, the guard said. Is he here? Tayuya asked. No. But why ask? The second guard asked, skeptical. Simple. We haven't seen him for a while and figured that he was here. We have some news for the Kazekage and would like to have it delivered, Naruto said. Oh, well, why didn't you say so in the first place? The guard said, and they let the 3 of them in. Well, how in the hell did you do that? Tayuya asked. My father's gift. Manipulation, Naruto said coldly. Manipulation is one of the hardest things to gain as a ninja. Some say you must be born with it and it can't be taught, Kimimaro said. Yes. But anyways, let's tell the Kazekage that we are here and get our stuff done, Naruto said. The 3 went to the Kazekage tower and looked headed straight into the 4th's office. He was busy doing paperwork, as it seemed that all Kages were busy with and didn't even need to look up to see the 3 standing in front of him. What does that snake want now? He said in a cold voice. He wants nothing, Kazekage-sama. We are here on our own free will, Kimimaro said coolly. Really? Someone broke out of his control? I don't even believe that, the 4th said, looking at the 2 former sound ninja. It is true, but the reasons are our own. Right now we are training and exploring the world with our new leader, if you will, Kimimaro said. Oh really, and where would this new leader of yours be right now? The Kazekage asked. That would be me. Uzumaki Naruto, Naruto said. The man looked at Naruto and tried to keep his composure. You two left a Sannin for a brat that looks much younger than both of you? Wow, now I have seen and heard almost everything the world has to offer. The Kazekage laughed. He looked and saw that Naruto was unaffected by his laughter and looked at the boy. He saw much darkness in his eyes, which was much worse than Gaara. If anything, this boy had much more evil in them as well, and it seemed that nothing would be able to stop his while Gaara could be. If someone would do their jobs and kill the boy. Now what is that you need? The Kazekage set his face back to his impassive self. I request that you allow me to be trained in the wind element. That is after all my element, and I need a teacher. I heard that there were some great wind element users here, Naruto said. Wind, huh? You will have to find your own teacher for that. The ones I have, I can't spare, so good luck. Is that all? The Kazekage asked. Yes, I have also heard that the container of the Shikaku no Ichibi was here. I would like to see him, Naruto said. You can, at your own risk, the Kazekage said. That didn't sound like a threat. More like a warning, Naruto thought. Excuse me, Kazekage-sama. What exactly is the container's mental and physical condition? Naruto asked. Unstable. That is all I will say about the situation. If that is all, please leave, the Kazekage said. The three nodded and left. Well, that went well enough, Naruto said as they checked into their hotel rooms. I am quite surprised that he didn't deny us the opportunity to see the container. Last time, we couldn't even come within 5 feet from him, Kimimaro said. Well, duh. Look at who you two were with. A stalker snake that would have probably kidnapped him or worse persuaded him to come willingly, and even after seeing that man for the first time, I could tell that he doesn't trust Orochimaru for a bit. He will be very cautious with us, so don't do anything that will have us executed. I will try to find him and observe him, but I won't try to talk to him unless I have a chance to, Naruto said. And wait, we have the time to do whatever we want? Tayuya asked. Well, yeah, but you two should train. Try to learn some more wind techniques as well, Tayuya and Kimimaro. Get us some information on anything that is happening around the world, and if you see someone who can join our cause, get them to join, Naruto told Kimimaro. Yes, Naruto-san, they both said, and Naruto just nodded back. In the Kazekage's office, the man known as Subaka Kazekage was sitting at his desk. He was finished with his paperwork and decided to watch out for Naruto and the others that were now traveling with the boy. He felt that the boy had something up his sleeve and didn't trust the former sound ninja with anything. He didn't hear anything about Naruto before today, so he didn't know if he was from sound or how they ended up traveling together. It could be a trap of that snake trying to get the power of the village. I will not have Orochimaru cheat me out of my power, he thought as he called in his children's teacher, Baki. Baki, I have a job for you, the Kazekage said. Yes, Kazekage-sama, he replied. I need you to watch for a blonde kid with whiskers. He is with 2 of Orochimaru's subordinates and have claimed are not with that snake. He has wanted to talk to Gaara, and I don't know why. Watch them and make sure he isn't doing anything for that snake, the Kazekage said. Yes, Kazekage-sama. Is that all? Baki asked. No. Now leave, he said coldly. Baki nodded and walked out of the room. The next day, Naruto was out and about in Suna. He was looking around for a teacher and couldn't seem to find one. Everyone just didn't seem to be at a level he wanted to be at. So he was just looking around for the container of Shikaku. Unfortunately, he couldn't find anyone who seemed to be ignored or scared or beaten or anything. He tried to ask people, but they would be scared as hell to even speak about the boy's name. That's how bad it was. They were too scared to even call him a demon or anything. The kid must have been bad. So Naruto was just looking around bored as hell. Then he heard fighting, and it sounded like someone was getting destroyed. Please, I am sorry. The voice shouted. Blood. I want your blood. The other voice shouted. Naruto had used his trade wind technique to teleport to where the voice was coming from. He saw a red-haired boy using his sand to cover another boy. Sand coffin. The red-haired boy said. He had then used his fire whip to save the boy. The red-haired boy was staring at Naruto with hatred and bloodlust in his eyes. Why did you interfere? Mother wants blood, and I will be able to rest. I want blood. The boy shouted. Gaara. Stop now. An old lady said, and Gaara looked at her. She came out with a girl that was about his age and was standing behind her. Gaara looked at the woman and then turned to Naruto. Next time I see you, I will kill you, Gaara said and disappeared in a whirlwind of sand. That was Shikaku's container? Naruto asked to the woman shocked. His name is Gaara, not container. The girl said Naruto. Gaara, huh? Well, Gaara is the container of the Shikaku no Ichibi and is fucking insane. Naruto said, Things happen when everyone in the village knows you are a weapon for the village and have a demon sealed within you, the old woman said. Really, if that was the case, then I must have missed out on the rules because I am the container of a much more powerful demon, and I was getting beaten to nothing but blood almost every day of my life. I would love to be able to have my birth village fear me. Naruto said, Really? Do you have that much sorrow and hatred inside of you? The old woman said, Yes, I do. I will not lie about it, but that doesn't mean that I don't care. Simply put, I would much rather let people know that I have hatred than hide it because it is so much easier. But I have to hide it so that people can think they know me, Naruto said. At least you are honest. To have as much hatred as I can see in your eyes and to be a liar are two qualities of a dead man in my eyes, the old woman said and began to walk off. Hey wait, can I talk to you about Gaara? He seems very unstable and looks like he can go berserk at any time, Naruto said. I don't talk about my failure. Not here anyways, the old woman said. Failure? Yes. He was one of the reasons that I quit being a ninja of this village, she said. Really? What's your name? Naruto asked. Chiyo. I was a kunoichi for the village of the sand. I sealed Shikaku inside him before he was born. His father gave the order to seal it inside of him, and his mother died giving birth to him and cursed the village doing so. The sealing didn't work out well. Well, that's apparent. I'm going out on a limb, but I assume that the fourth Kazekage gave the order. Naruto interrupted. Yes, and thank you for pointing out the obvious, child, Chiyo said coldly. I didn't mean it in a disrespectful way, but it's the truth. What exactly is Gaara's seal? I mean, I have heard of a lot of seals and stuff, and most of them should have worked. Naruto said, thinking. I used a mixed seal by orders of the Kazekage. You would have to see the seal because I refused to say. Just know that it didn't work, and when it failed, he tried to kill him. Chiyo said as they approached a house. I would like to finish hearing this story because now I am intrigued. Mostly due to the fact that mixed seals almost never work unless you have a special case like mine, Naruto said. Yes, if you tell me now which demon was sealed within you, Chiyo said. The Kyuubi no Kitsune. She is my adoptive mother, Naruto said. Chiyo gave a laugh, and the girl looked at Naruto a little scared. It is all right, Matsuri. He isn't completely like Gaara. Everything he is doing is on his own free will, Chiyo said and gave a look to Naruto. Naruto was unaffected by the look and Chiyo just sighed. The world is going to the Shinigami because of all the dumb asses in the world, Chiyo whispered to herself and allowed Naruto into her house. Naruto looked around her house and saw a lot of pictures of a red-haired boy and pictures of people and puppets. Who's the boy? Naruto asked. My other reason that I quit being a ninja, my grandson Sasori, Chiyo said. This is one of those don't talk about moments, so let's just get back to Gaara, shall we? Naruto said, noticing the tone of voice she used when saying his name. All right, Gaara was at first trained as a weapon by his father and uncle. They did a poor job at it to say the least. At least with his sister and brother, they did an attempted job at showing some humanity, although it was a waste to say the least. Everyone in the village knew about him having the demon sealed inside of him, and also knew the priestess that it was and knew that the demon was insane, so they feared him. It didn't help that his sand works by itself and would hurt the people around him without Gaara even knowing about it. He killed many people without him even having control over the sand. Years went on, and his father decided that this was a failure and decided to kill him. The Shikaku, however, didn't like that idea and decided to give him the ultimate defense of sand, and no one could kill him, and no one wanted to try after a while. Then his uncle tried to kill him, and it failed. He told him that he hated him. The only person that Gaara thought loved him betrayed him, and then told him that he blamed him for his sister's death. That was 2 years ago, and Gaara is truly by himself, Chiyo said. That's not true. He isn't by himself. The girl finally spoke up. Well, you aren't with him right now, and he doesn't even know that you exist, Matsuri-chan. So he is by himself. Chiyo said to the girl known as Matsuri. I will be with him soon. As soon as you teach me how to use Earth Jutsu, then I will be able to combine the both of them into sand. I am sure that I will be able to do it, Matsuri said. Naruto looked at the future sand kunoichi, and just for some weird reason Hinata. Hey, you are her teacher. Do you think you can teach me some wind jutsu? Naruto asked. Chiyo looked at Naruto and looked deep into his eyes. They were cold and ice blue, but they had a small, very small hint of warmth behind them, but that could have been saved for one person. He had shown that he wasn't a complete psychotic monster like Gaara, and that he knew right from wrong. All right then, but this training will be hard, and if you complain even once, I will no longer train you. You will also be taught in the ways of poison making, Chiyo said and let out a laugh as she thought Naruto wouldn't even make it past a day. All right, but make sure that you give me something hard, Naruto said and bowed. 2 weeks later, again, This time add more speed to the wind and spin it around your fire to add more distance, Chiyo said to Naruto. Naruto let out a deep breath and activated his fire whips. In the 2 weeks, he was able to not only learn new existing wind techniques, but he was also able to make up his own and improve on his own techniques. With the help of Chiyo, he was able to make his shadow fire whips more powerful and made up some new variations of his taijutsu style by adding wind to the mix to speed through opponents and then use fire to destroy them from the inside out. Chiyo was quite amazed that he had gotten through his training and was even able to help Matsuri with hers. She had told him about Sasori and how he was a missing ninja. Apparently, he quit being a ninja and tried to leave the village and search for new things. The third Kazekage wouldn't let him leave, and they fought, and Sasori used his puppetry to beat the man, and the third was turned into a puppet, and Sasori was classified a missing ninja. Soon afterwards, he disappeared off the face of the planet, it seems. Now, Naruto was practicing a new move that Chiyo had knew, the Flaming Grace Phoenix Fire Whip. It used the wind to power his fire whips and also allowed him to throw the whips at opponents and use his trade winds to control the attack. Naruto had gotten it down, but he needed to add to his distance. Naruto activated his dragon eyes and used it to aim at the target. Trade winds, Naruto said, and forced the wind to the target and then did as he was told, to spin. As he began to spin, he added more fire and then launched it at the target. Then he began to use hand seals. Flaming Grace Phoenix Fire Whips. Split. Naruto shouted, and the whips split into 10 and pierced the target. The target was burnt in an instant. Nice, Naruto. Very nice, Chiyo said calmly. Naruto just nodded and looked at Chiyo. Well, that does it. You are officially done with training. I can't believe it. I thought you would quit after the first day, and you completed. Too bad you only wanted wind training. I could have taught you the art of puppets, since that is of course my true specialty, Chiyo laughed. Naruto just looked at her tired and then heard a noise. He immediately recognized the voice as Taiyuya. What the hell did that girl get into now? Naruto asked and bowed to Chiyo and left. Hey, you dumb blonde bitch, give that back. Taiyuya shouted to the girl. No. You lost it, and I found it, so I think I will keep it, the blonde girl said. What? I drop it for a second and you pick it up and keep it. Bullshit. Give me my stuff, or I will fucking kill you. Taiyuya shouted. Temari, just give the girl her stuff back. You know father will be pissed off if you fight her, the boy beside her said. Shut the fuck up, Kankuro. I will keep this because this might be what we need, the girl named Temari said. Girl, give that back now. Kimimaro said calmly and grabbed her hand. Kankuro jumped in and grabbed it back. Don't touch my sister like that, kid. I don't care who you are, Kankuro said. The four stood off against each other. Temari and Kankuro grabbed their weapons. Temari a fan and Kankuro a rap doll thing. Kimimaro followed by pulling out a bone, and Taiyuya got her flute. All right, little kiddies. Enough is enough. Now why are you four fighting? Naruto said, sitting on the roof of a place, causing them all to look at them. What the hell, we are all older than that kid, Kankuro said. Yeah, and you are all little kids. You have nothing to say. Now can we have back our stuff, please? Naruto asked Temari. No. We need this more than you do. Why do you have this anyways? Temari asked. That's none of your concern. All I know is that you will give that back. Besides, it's completely worthless to you if you are not a seal master. You couldn't find anyone in this place to decipher that and make good use of it, Naruto said to her. Temari, Kankuro, what the hell are you two imbeciles doing? A voice said that made them crawl from the inside of their skin. Gaara. They both shouted. What are you two imbeciles doing here? That is the last time I will ask you, Gaara said in a deathly calm voice. We were. They have something that belongs to me and I want it back. Naruto said. If that is true, give it back to him, Gaara said. The two looked and immediately gave it to Kimimaro. You, stay out of my way. This is your final warning, he said, looking at Naruto. Naruto was unfazed by the threat and just looked at Kimimaro and Taiyuya. Humph. You two should have just kicked their asses and called it a day, Naruto said, still sitting in the same spot. Well, we can't. We don't want to start trouble, remember? Taiyuya said. Right. Anyways, Gaara's seal. I have to see it so that I can know what I am dealing with. So tonight I will go see him and ask, Naruto said and disappeared into flames. How the fuck does he do that? Taiyuya said. Kimimaro shook his head and walked off, and Taiyuya followed in the same direction. Naruto was looking around the dark desert village looking for Gaara. He couldn't find him anywhere. He had to find the seal that he was under, and that old lady Chiyo wasn't trying to tell him anything about it. He was trying to fix the seal for him, and he's nowhere to be found, and no one magically wants to help look for him. This is a fucking conspiracy, Naruto said to himself as he continued his search. After about another 10 minutes, he decided to ask his mom for Gaara's scent. Melina just nodded and told him to let her sleep. Naruto thanked her and sped off to his location. Gaara was on the verge of losing his mind completely. The demon was loud as usual and Gaara didn't know what to do. It must have been something to do with the moon because the beast was as strong as ever. "Let me out. Give me blood. Give me blood," Shikaku shouted. Gaara clutched onto his head and tried to block out the screams for blood. He then saw Naruto appear in front of him. What do you want?" Gaara asked. "I want to help you." "You have the demon Shikaku inside of you, correct?" Naruto asked. "Yes, and it is as loud as ever." "Oh great. You won't be able to get to him at night. Shikaku-chan is all-powerful at night, and is even more powerful on the full moon. This plan will go as a failure, and the influence she has on the boy will drive him to kill you. You might have to fight him," Melina said. "You can't be serious." "Damn, this isn't what I didn't want," Naruto replied. Meanwhile, Gaara was in a battle of his own. "Don't let that boy near you. He will try and kill you. He has a darker, stronger demon inside of him and will kill you if he gets too close. Destroy him and feed me his blood," Shikaku said. Gaara looked at Naruto and felt that he was struggling to keep his chakra down. It must be true. "All right, I will kill him," Gaara said and used his sand to attack Naruto. Naruto's shadow fire whips blocked the sand and attacked Gaara in a defense. Gaara's sand blocked it and sent another wave at Naruto. Naruto jumped out the way and the sand hit a wall, destroying it. At this rate, the city will be destroyed, Naruto thought and jumped back. "Hey Gaara, you want to fight? Then follow me," Naruto said and disappeared. Gaara disappeared as well and followed Naruto to the desert. Tayuya and Kimimaro was sitting in their hotel room when they felt enough chakra to wake the entire city. "Naruto!" Both of them shouted and ran out the hotel room. At the same time, Temari, Kankuro, Baki, and the fourth Kazekage had felt the same chakra. "Gaara, damn, you three find him and immobilize him if you must," the fourth said. The three nodded and disappeared. At that time, Chiyo and Matsuri were on the search for them as well. "That dumb kid. I told him not to mess with Gaara and he goes and does it anyway. He's going to get himself killed," Chiyo said to him. "He better not hurt Gaara-kun," Matsuri said as they both sped off. "All right, shall we begin this, Gaara?" Naruto asked and made 2 flame whips. Sand began to spin around Gaara as he took the gourd off of his back. "I won't need this now that we are in the desert. I will kill you today, Uzumaki Naruto," Gaara shouted and sent a wind blast at Naruto. Naruto used the flame whip to slap it away. He saw a wave of sand sweep him away. Naruto was unable to react and was flooded by the sand. Naruto did a few hand seals. "Trade wins," Naruto shouted and was above the sand and in the sky. He then used his flame whips to attack Gaara, but Gaara used his sand to block. Naruto then did more hand seals. "Katanen, great fireball," Naruto shouted and sent a giant fireball at Gaara. The sand protected Gaara and Gaara jumped into the air and did some hand seals. "Futon, great breakthrough," Gaara shouted. Naruto did his own hand seals. "Trade wins," he shouted and made the wind from Gaara's attack go back at him. "Tearing winds," Naruto shouted and sent waves of destroying wind at Gaara. Gaara was sent to the ground, but the sand protected him and made him look unscathed. Naruto looked unintimidated and powered up 2 more fire whips. He spent them both around his head and started to charge. Gaara put his hands into a seal and powered the sand to swirl and swirl around him. Naruto continued his charge and forced his whip to hit the top of the sand. It broke through, but the fire was destroyed. Gaara then used his hand to send a wind attack at Naruto, causing him to fly back. Naruto did a backflip and used the momentum of the flip to send another wave of whip strikes at Naruto. Gaara then finished powering. "Sand release, sand awaken, spear of the Shikaku," Gaara shouted and used the sand around him to create a spear. "What the fuck? Oh yeah, Shikaku's spear. I wouldn't suggest being hit by that. It hurts like a bitch," Melina said. "A little help please," Naruto said. "Why? You are winning if she has to resort to that," Melina said and cut off the connection so Naruto could concentrate. Naruto snapped back to see Gaara preparing to stab him. Naruto used his shadow fire whips to block the attack and sent them to attack Gaara. Gaara used the sand around him to combat the whips. Then he charged at Naruto with his new spear. Naruto powered up 2 more fire whips and prepared to counter. Gaara threw it. Naruto sliced through it and charged at him, fire whip spinning. Naruto struck Gaara in both of his arms and pulled up. Gaara fell to the ground and turned into sand. "That was fucking sand," Naruto shouted and was about to be struck by a spear when he kawarimi with the pieces of the armor. Gaara appeared and tried to slice Naruto in half when Naruto kicked him in the head, sending him flying back. Naruto then did a hand seal, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He shouted and made 10 clones. The first 2 clones were used to kick him in the air. 6 were in the sky as that happened. They then stomped him into the ground. Gaara used the sand to cushion the fall, but the last ones were ready. They did a few hand seals and powered up. Ninpo, triple Uzumaki Dragon Assault. He shouted. Gaara didn't have time to react or force his sand to protect him when the 3 dragons surrounded him. The 3 dragons overwhelmed him, and when it was done, Gaara hit the ground hard. Oops, didn't mean to do that, Naruto said. I wouldn't be so sure of that. For now this fight is over. It's time for round 2, Melina said, waking up to see a very fun fight and quite possibly be a part of it. The groups arrived and saw that Naruto was standing and Gaara was on the ground hurt. Oh my fucking god. Did he just beat Gaara? Baki asked. How much power does that kid have? Chio asked. The others didn't say anything. Gaara. Matsuri shouted and ran towards him. Hey Matsuri, stop. This isn't over, ye dash. Why you hurt him? Of course it's over. He can't fight. Why were you fighting anyway? What did he ever do to you? Matsuri shouted. Well, attack me. In the middle of the city and threatened to kill me. But other than that, nothing. Oh, and try to kill me. But Naruto stopped and pulled Matsuri away and pushed her to safety. So the real fun begins. The demon wants to play? Walta Bad Kusen can't play right now, but I guess I can be the next best thing, Naruto said and kicked Gaara back. Gaara slid back and sand began to swirl around him. The sand began to form a dome, and the dome closed as Naruto waited for it to reopen, fire whips in hand and his shadow flame waiting. Chapter 5. The dome opened 5 minutes after it closed. Gaara had come out completely different. His left side of his face looked like half of a raccoon. He looked much more crazier, and he looked much stronger. I will have your blood, Uzumaki. Gaara shouted and sent a whole wave of sand at Naruto. Naruto jumped over the sand and tried to slash him with his fire whip. The sand protected Gaara, and Naruto kept the strikes up, increasing the speed and the power of the attacks. Gaara used the sand to block and sent a blast of wind at Naruto. Naruto's side jumped the attack and got under the sand defense to send Gaara sliding with a kick. Gaara tried to counter with his new demon arm, but the shadow flame whips blocked, and Naruto made a shadow clone to take the hit and ran on the side of his sand arm. Naruto jumped over Gaara and was behind him and tried to stab him in the back. Gaara's sand protected him, giving Gaara enough time to backhand Naruto and send him flying. Naruto used his hands to do a backflip and did some hand seals. Katon, great fireball technique, Naruto shouted and sent a giant fireball at Gaara. Gaara disappeared before the fireball got there. Where the hell did he dash? Naruto was interrupted by Gaara hitting him in the stomach and kicking him in the face, sending him flying. Naruto hit the ground hard, but quickly got back up. Blood was dripping from his mouth, but he spit it out. He then decided that enough was enough. Level 5. Kai, he said. Power began to be released from his body. Fire swirled around him. He powered up one large fire whip. Let's end this game, Naruto said, coldly, releasing a huge amount of killer intent that was affecting not only Gaara but also the newly formed audience that was now joined by the 4th Kazekage. Naruto finished his power-up and sent the whip at Gaara. Gaara tried to use the sand to protect him, but it broke through. Naruto began to spin the whip over his head that lit the skies for all to see. He then began to attack Gaara with it. Gaara would try to use the sand to protect himself, but the whip would just break through and Gaara would get small burns and cuts all over his body. Gaara sent his sand arm at Naruto, but Naruto sliced it in half. Naruto then charged at Gaara with his whip like a sword ready to be released. Naruto sliced Gaara's arm, aiming for his chest. Gaara was able to use the sand to protect his arm, but there was a giant burn mark where his arm was. Naruto then right-hooked Gaara into the ground and went for the kill. Gaara sent another wave of sand at Naruto, causing Naruto to jump back. Naruto jumped back and did a backflip to get away. Gaara jumped up and did some hand seals. Sand release. Mystical sand cannon, Gaara shouted. Gaara formed his hands into a circle and aimed it at Naruto. The sand began to form into a giant bomb. Oh really? Naruto shouted, and he began to power his chakra into his hand. The chakra turned blue, then red, then gold, and red again. The chakra in Naruto's hand was being turned into a sphere. Wanna go, huh? Naruto shouted as he finished the sphere. He then charged at the bomb. Launch now, Gaara shouted. Rasengan, Naruto shouted as he held it to begin to counter Gaara's attack. The two attacks connected. Naruto pushed his way through but couldn't seem to match the power to fully go through Gaara's attack. He then decided to use his demon strength. Eat this, Gaara. He shouted and allowed the red chakra that was in the Rasengan to completely fill it, and it was enough to destroy Gaara's attack. Naruto then charged at Gaara. Gaara was scared and couldn't move. "You stupid boy. You can't do anything." Shikaka shouted from Gaara's head and used the control. She had to use the sand arm as a shield so that the rest of Gaara wouldn't be destroyed. The arm fell off again, but it grew back. "I will end this fight, you weakling," Shikaka said. Suddenly, Shikagara charged at Naruto and tried to swing her giant arm. Naruto ducked and regained his fire whip. He sliced her in half, but that was only a sand clone. More sand clones came and grabbed Naruto. Shikagara appeared from the ground and took in a great breath. "Futon, drilling air projectile," Shikagara shouted. 3 waves of air hit Naruto, but his shadow flame whips were able to destroy the clones and allowed him to escape. Naruto, however, was hit by the 3rd one. Naruto had blood coming down his face and was out of air. "You are good if you can survive that," Shikagara said. She then made more clones and trapped Naruto. Naruto tried to use his flame shadow to destroy the clones, but found that they weren't coming on. Shikagara laughed. "Wonder why those flames aren't working. I am using my chakra to block them. You are good like a woman I saw use them some years ago, but she was a pro at it. You haven't learned how the weaknesses of the fire yet." She laughed and walked over to Naruto. Naruto struggled to move but was at the mercy of the sand. Shikagara then hit him in the stomach and then hit him dead in the face, sending him flying. Naruto was just laying there. "Naruto, you are letting a lesser beat you. You cannot beat her without releasing level 4. Do it now," Melina said. "Hi Kaa-san," Naruto said. Naruto looked at Shikagara. "Okay, you fucking rat. I will enjoy to watch you burn. You were telling me bullshit that I already know. I will show you how good I am with the power of the flame. Level 4. Kai," Naruto shouted. Fire surrounded Naruto, and it was darker than the last fire. Naruto let out a scream, and the shadow flame whips were spinning around him. "You will never hit me again," Naruto said, activating the flame dragon eyes. Shikagara let out a laugh and charged at Naruto. Naruto pointed his hand and a whip grabbed Shikagara. Another one pierced through the sand and hit Shikagara. The whip that had her threw her to the ground, and Naruto did a hand seal. "Futon. Wind explosion," Naruto said and sent wind at Shikagara. She used the sand to block, but then it exploded. Shikagara couldn't see, and Naruto took advantage. He sent the whips to begin to hit and slash Shikagara. She screamed in pain and tried to attack back. She sent a wave of wind at Naruto and then followed it with a wave of sand. The shadow whips didn't let either pass, destroying them both. Naruto used his giant whip and slashed Gaara in the stomach. Shikagara used the sand to block it, but it pushed through and cut Gaara. Blood dripped down the wound. Then Naruto decided to finish this. He made all of his whips return and powered them up. "Ninpo, Shadow Whip Fuse, Arrow of the Forbidden Dragon," Naruto shouted. Naruto forced the whips to join together and create an arrow. He then decided to aim for where he thought the seal was. "Dragon's Roar," Naruto shouted and was preparing to fire. Shikagara decided to act as well. "Let's see how good you are, boy." She then formed some seals and placed her hands on the ground. "Ultimate Defense, Shield of the Ichibi no Shikaku," Shikagara shouted. A large replica of Shikaku appeared in front of her. She stood there and had her hand out in the back of the shield. Naruto fired. The giant arrow let out a roar as it approached the giant shield. The giant arrow made contact and was trying to push through it. Shikagara was being pushed by the giant dragon, and the dragon wasn't letting up. The dragon let out one last roar and destroyed the shield and knocking Gaara back to normal. "What? I lost to a little half-demon," Shikaka shouted before going back into the seal. Gaara hit the ground, and Naruto allowed the fire to go back into his body before sealing it back into his flame seals. The crowd was stunned. The Sand Ninja and even the Kazekage had never seen a fight that good. The best they had saw was during the war between them and the Cloud. The Kazekage saw his son, his weapon be beaten by pure strength, but was amazed by how good he was. Chio and Matsuri was stunned and a little upset that Naruto had actually pulled off a win. Tayuya and Kimimaro weren't stunned by the win, but more stunned about how much power that the two ninja displayed. They both decided to get their new boss to a hospital and try to get him to heal. "That was a good battle," Kankuro said amazed. "I can't believe that Gaara lost," Temari said shocked. "Temari, Kankuro, go get your little brother," the fourth said. Both of them were shocked. The last time he had said that was when they were 4 years old. That was the first time in a long time that their father had shown Gaara's existence. The two nodded and got to Gaara. Gaara had blood coming from his mouth, and he looked beat up and burnt. Naruto didn't look any better and had scars on his face and his clothes were shredded. "Hey, I won that fight, right? I can't lose to a lesser, Naruto said. You won, kid. Now it's time to rest, Tayuya said. Naruto just nodded and fell asleep. 5 days later. What the fuck is this bullshit? In my life, I have never even read bullshit like this. This seal are just clothes waiting to be ripped out of. Naruto shouted as they were in the Kazekage's office. It had been 5 whole days since Naruto and Gaara's fight. Gaara woke up before Naruto as Naruto was training because Melina said he needed drastic improvements. He had made critical mistakes that couldn't be made again and helped him control his flame shadow whips even more. So Naruto woke up even more stronger than before. He was ready to look at Gaara's seal and fix it. When he talked to the fourth and Chiyo, they finally agreed to it. Gaara showed him the seal. It was a mix between a berserker seal and a 3-pronged seal. Naruto was disgusted. Lines were going through Gaara's stomach, and that was it. Oh my fucking Kami. You cannot be serious. No wonder she is insane. You said this was the 3rd person you sealed it into, right? Then why did you continue to use the berserker seal? Naruto asked. I ordered it so that Gaara could be used as a weapon, the 4th said. Dude, you could have used the 6-prong and let Gaara have control to have your weapon. That couldn't have happened since Konoha and Rock have the best seal masters. He defended. Well, today is your lucky day. Hey Tamari, you know that paper I said that only a seal master could read? Well, that was something that I found that I was going to use to restore Gaara's seal. I guess you found out about it somehow, but whatever. Naruto said. I heard them talking about it when I used the wind to make her drop it so I could steal it. Tamari smiled nervously. You daughter of a fucking bastard. Tayuya said. The Kazekage cleared his throat. Anyways, I'm going to add 3 more seals and destroy this berserker seal so that Gaara can have complete control and Shikaku will be happier. As happy as a psychopath can be anyways, Naruto said. He then approached Gaara with the paper. He powered some of his chakra into the paper. Oh yeah, and Gaara, this will hurt like a bitch, he whispered as he said it. Gaara let out a scream, but Matsuri was there to hold him. The berserker seal broke, and 3 more seals immediately added itself. Then the paper ripped into 2 and then burnt. Naruto began to cough up blood. Damn, must not have healed enough yet, Naruto said and sat down. Gaara was passed out, but the sand that was like an automatic defense wasn't spinning around him anymore. It worked. The Kazekage said, No duh. I'm a seal master. In training, Naruto said. How can we repay you? He asked. Well, you could be our ally. I have decided to make a village. I want you to abandon the snake and the leaf and join my village. I will be going around recruiting. I was going to get Gaara, but then realized why bother when I could just fix the seal and get the sand to help me, Naruto said. I cannot abandon my treaty with the leaf, he said. Not yet then. But that snake, Orochimaru. Drop his plans. He is using you and will not give anything back for your help except death and despair, Kimimaro said. You heard him. I couldn't have said it better myself, Naruto said, finally getting his breath. The 4th thought about it. All right, I will join your cause. As thanks, he replied. Naruto nodded but got a familiar ringing in his head. That worked out all fine, but Shikaku's influence is still strong, Melina said. What? Naruto shouted at his mother. Mind you manners. She said, Sorry, Kaa-san, but after all of that, how can her influence still be strong? Naruto asked. She is sealed. Yes, and she can't get out unless Gaara allows it. She will be all-powerful at night. That is where she is strongest, and if Gaara faces her at night, she will win. In the day, however, she will be weak since she is a nocturnal, Melina said. So Kaa-san, he must be a nocturnal as well? Naruto asked. That is correct. Shouldn't be too difficult, Melina said and cut off the connection. Naruto returned to the real world and was prepared to give the news. Okay, kiddies, I have good news and bad news. Naruto said. What's the bad news? Chiyo asked. Okay, my Kaa-san just told me that the seal is only half. No, about 75% good. She said it is because at night, Shikaku's influence will be strong since she will be awake. That means that she will be able to try to get Gaara to break the seal. The only way for that not to happen is if Gaara is awake. So from when the sun sets till the sun rises, Gaara has to be awake. The good news is that Gaara's seal is still strong, and there is nothing wrong with the night life, Naruto said. Can it be fixed? The Kazekage asked. Not without killing them both, Naruto said. Well then that shouldn't be difficult. He will just have to sleep during the day and woken at a certain time for the night. It won't be as if he is up like he used to be, he said. Well, Tayuya, Kimimaro, if that is all, let's get ready to leave this village, Naruto said. They both nodded and walked out the door. The next day, sunset. Well, time to walk through this stupid desert. Again. But where to? Naruto asked. A suggestion. You should go up to aim. There should be some help. There are many missing ninja there, and it should be some help, the fourth Kazekage said. Thanks for everything, Gaara said. No problem. And as for the suggestion, that is where we'll go next then. I don't see why not, Naruto said. See you later. Try not to get killed on the way to your destiny, Chiyo said. Yeah, I won't, Naruto said. You say that now, you brat. Tayuya laughed. Hey, go fight a cactus needle hand, Naruto said. This will be a long trip. Kimimaro said to himself. Quiet dry bones. Naruto said. Don't call him that. Tayuya said. Who the hell did we just ally ourselves with? The fourth Kazekage asked. A strong group of Bakas. Chiyo said and walked back into the village with Matsuri following. The fourth nodded and decided to follow. Secret location. The boy is growing much stronger than I have ever thought. The fourth shadow said. That boy made it so that it will be much harder to take the Shikage. This is beginning to become a nuisance, the sixth shadow said. He just ended our alliance with Suna. He is growing much stronger than even our weakest, the fifth shadow said. We should capture him now, Kisame, Itachi. Go capture the Kyuubi vessel now, the head shadow said. Hi, Leader Sama. They both said and disappeared. Chapter 6. I still can't believe that we have so much money, Tayuya said looking at the scroll in Naruto's bag. Yeah. Good call, Kimimaro, Naruto said as he sipped his green tea. Those desert raiders were going to do the same thing to us. We just overpowered them and took everything they had, Kimimaro said. Naruto and Tayuya nodded and went back to drinking green tea and orange tea. Currently, the three were in a small town in the rain country. They had gotten out the desert not even 2 days ago, and this was the first town that they had arrived in. While still in the desert, they met a band of thieves and helped them raid a village, then killed the raiders and took all of their money and the money that they had taken. It was more practice than anything else. Now they were just relaxing. There was no reason to do anything except look for some people to join them, and they still had another 1.5 years to do so. They could take their time if they wanted to. Outside, they looked my age, if not younger. He couldn't be that much of a threat, could he? The girl with a battle kimono and a white hunter ninja mask asked. He seems weak. Let us handle the boy, the man with a weird mask said to him. Yes, me and my brother can easily subdue the boy, another man with an identical mask said. The taller man with bandages with a cloak and a giant sword thought about it for a moment. No, not yet. I have a feeling that we are getting way in over our heads. There is no way we can get this much money for just delivering a little kid that's not even a ninja yet, the man said. While that is weird, it is the most appropriate timing since we were running low on funds anyways. I say we get him now, the girl said. Even Haku-chan says to get him, and you know how careful she is, boss, the masked man said. She is completely underestimating this boy, which is odd. Wait a minute. What the hell? The man said, coming to a realization too late. Suddenly, the trio disappeared in a puff of smoke along with the girl. Hey, Kimimaro and Tayuya, don't you just love the wind now? You never know what you will pick up. You see, Kimimaro, I told you they were following us for the past 10 minutes with killing intent oozing out at us, Naruto said. You were right. They were enemies, Kimimaro said. All right. It's fight time, and here I thought that I would never get to fight, Tayuya said. Kimimaro was holding the girl with a bone sword at her throat. We were foolish, underestimating a ninja and letting our guard down, the man said. Okay, then who the hell are you fools, and what do you want? Naruto asked. Naruto-san, that is Momochi Zabuza, a jounin from the mist and a member of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. He is the demon of the bloody mist. I also know those two as the demon brothers of the bloody mist, but this one I haven't seen before, Kimimaro said. Ah. So a member of the Kagaya clan is still alive, and here I thought that our leader had finished you all off, but I was wrong. Haku now, he shouted. The girl, now known as Haku, created a mirror from nowhere and jumped into it, getting out of Kimimaro's grasp. What the dash? She is a water manipulator. She can move the water just like I can move fire. I pray that she isn't very good at it. Haku is the best, so good in fact that she can even manipulate ice, Zabuza bragged. Oh great. I will dash. Naruto, if I may. I will be taking on the sword dog, and Tayuya should take on the ice girl for the fact that Tayuya's long-ranged fighting is better than yours, Kimimaro said. But that leaves me with the babies. I will beat them with only 1 move, maybe even 2. Naruto whined. You have the final say, as you know. We don't have time for bullshit, Naruto. Just say yes, they look like they are going to attack soon. Tayuya shouted. All right, fine. Naruto said, and the 3 disappeared. Zabuza and the others disappeared as well. With Naruto had hit the first masked man to the ground and sent the second one flying with a kick to the stomach. The 2 used a chain to stay together. Okay. Who are you again, the demon brothers? Naruto asked, bored. I am Gozu, he said. I am Meizu, he said. At least you two didn't do some stupid-ass dance. Alright, let's hurry this beating up, Naruto said, and didn't even bother to put up a defense but allowed his shadow flame whips to spin around him. You are cocky, kid, but you are an unknown, Gozu said. We are in the bingo book and you won't ever be, Meizu said, and they both tried to wrap their chain around Naruto. Naruto let out a yawn, and the shadow flame whips burnt the chain as if it was nothing. What the dash? The shadow flame then swarmed around Gozu and went through his arms and legs, causing them to burn, and the pain forced him to the ground. Meizu decided to use this distraction and attack Naruto. As Meizu approached Naruto, Naruto let out another yawn and disappeared. He reappeared above Meizu and kicked him in the head, knocking him out. That was the worst fight I had since those stupid-ass bandits, Naruto said, and used his trade winds to find Kimimaro and try to see his fight with Tayuya. Tayuya and Haku were playing a game of cat and mouse. Both sides were fighting for the position of cat and mouse because their attacks would always block each other out. Sway on. Water wave level 1. Haku said and sent a wave of water at Tayuya. Tayuya had her biggest doki grab her and jump out the way. She then sent her second and third one after Haku. Haku jumped and dodged the attacks that were sent at her gracefully and using Ice made Senbon to counter the attacks and attack Tayuya. Tayuya dodged and used Wind Jutsu to block them. She then played a tune on her flute. Futon, great breakthrough, Tayuya shouted. A huge wave of wind attacked Haku. Ice release, Ice crystal shield, she shouted and made a mirror come from the air and used it to absorb the attack and sent it back at her. Tayuya used another great breakthrough to block the attack. Tayuya played another tune and made her biggest doki attack Haku as well. Haku dodged the attack sent at her, now utilizing her speed. She then made a charge at Tayuya. Tayuya calmly played another tune and her fastest doki appeared and charged at Haku. Haku didn't let up her attack at Tayuya as she saw the ghost. As the doki attacked, Haku disappeared. Ice release, Ice Hawk drop, Haku said and was about to go straight through Tayuya. Tayuya, the last second, played a tune that made her strongest doki appear and took the shot, causing him to disappear. Tayuya then used the great breakthrough technique to send Haku flying out of breath. She then used her fastest doki to fight her. Haku was beginning to reach her limit. She didn't let it show and just dodged the attacks, and Tayuya, who was getting tired as well, used her second one to try to help. Haku did 3 one-hand seals and disappeared. Ice release, Ice windmill, she shouted. She made 20 ice needles appear from the air and 2 mirrors. The needles began to spin around the 2 demons. Tayuya was confused and tried to get them out of there, but Haku decided to act first and used her hands to spin the needles around. The needles began to close and the mirrors began to revolve around the 2 doki. Tayuya tried to play a tune, but it was too late. The needles pierced through the demons and made them go away. Damn, Tayuya shouted. This was the first time that had happened, and now she was out of energy and refused to use her cursed seal. Haku was almost out of it. Her chakra was low, and she still had to help Zabuza. I will end this now, Haku said and started to do a series of hand seals. Water began to spin around her. Tayuya herself decided to play a stronger tune that she learned during her stay in Suna. The 2 didn't stop staring at each other. The 2 finally stopped at the same time. The water that formed around Haku began to take the form of a dragon. Swayed on. Water Dragon Projectile no Jutsu, she said as the dragon was sent at Tayuya. The wind began to spin around. Futon, Wind Dragon Projectile no Jutsu, she said, and a wind dragon was sent at the water dragon. The 2 hit and Haku and Tayuya was at a standstill and tired, but neither wouldn't back down. Haku decided to add more water and Tayuya tried to play her flute to add power to the attack, but neither had the energy and both of their attacks blocked out one another and was destroyed. Tayuya and Haku were almost done. I won't lose to this bitch, both of them were thinking and both charged at one another. Haku was coming in for an uppercut and Tayuya was coming with a left hook. Both of their attacks connected at the same time. Tayuya went in the air and blood came from her mouth and Haku was sent flying as her mouth leaked blood. Both passed out afterwards. With Kimimaro and Zabuza were staring at one another, one with hatred and the other with arrogance. I will make you pay for what you did to my clan. Swordsman dogs, Kimimaro said. That clan was nothing more than a bunch of freaky bony psychopaths anyways. Besides, if I remember correctly, didn't they lock the air up for being too strong? Zabuza said. Shut your mouth, dog, Kimimaro said in the loudest voice he could muster. Oh wait, you're the last member, aren't you? Well, this is funny. The boy that disappeared off the face of the earth after the attack. Zabuza said. You won't live to see another day, dog. Kimimaro shouted and took a stance. Let's see what you got. Zabuza said and took his stance, but not before putting his sword into the ground. The wind began to blow. Then Kimimaro disappeared. He reappeared in front of Zabuza and tried to punch him in the stomach. Zabuza blocked and countered with an uppercut. Kimimaro used his foot to block and tried to elbow him in the head. Zabuza blocked and kicked Kimimaro away. Kimimaro used a kick of his own to block and open palm struck Zabuza in the chest. Zabuza slid back but charged forward and hit Kimimaro dead in the nose. A drip of blood came from Kimimaro's nose. Kimimaro charged forward and was able to hit Zabuza in the nose as well and tried to kick Zabuza. Zabuza kicked to counter his kick and threw another uppercut. Kimimaro grabbed his hand and threw Zabuza into the air. Zabuza got to the ground and let out a powerful kick, causing Kimimaro to punch him in the head and forcing both of them to jump back. Zabuza wiped the blood off of his head and Kimimaro wiped the blood from his mouth. This is fun. I wish I had someone to watch it with though. I wonder what's Hinata doing right now. I really need a kiss from her. Naruto smirked to himself as he watched the fight. Zabuza, Haku, Meizu, and Gozu. They are powerful. While Haku and Zabuza are, Meizu and Gozu are more spies, but they will be useful. I will recruit them after the fun is over. Haku is a water user. Maybe she can teach Hinata-chan a few moves. I can use Zabuza for credibility, and he is a powerful water master, so he should be useful. Plus, I need to learn the silent killing techniques so he will be useful. Then it is settled then. I will recruit them, Naruto said and watched the fight continue. Zabuza placed his hands into a seal and concentrated really hard. Mist began to come from everywhere and Zabuza was using a lot of killing intent. Kimimaro seemed unaffected by it and just waited. He noticed that Zabuza's sword was gone and pulled a bone from his arm. Silent homicide. A coward's act just like the attack on my family. Kimimaro said unaffected, but looking around trying to find Zabuza. This battle is one you can't win, child. 8 choices: liver, lungs, spine, cervical vein, neck vein, brains, kidneys, heart. Zabuza said, and tried to slash Kimimaro in half. Kimimaro used his bone sword and blocked the strike. He then kicked him in the stomach and forced him back into the mist. Zabuza came back at Kimimaro faster and stronger, but Kimimaro spun out the way and cut Zabuza in the arm shallowly. Zabuza wasn't affected by it and stabbed Kimimaro in the same place. Kimimaro countered by kicking him in the stomach and stabbing him near the chest, forcing him to jump back. Both men looked at one another. Both were bleeding deeply and had blood coming from their wounds. Kimimaro began to cough and cough. Zabuza decided to take advantage and tried to stab Kimimaro in the head. Kimimaro jumped up and backflip kicked Zabuza in the chin and with the added momentum stabbed him in the right hand. Zabuza quickly countered by cutting Kimimaro in the stomach. Kimimaro clutched at his wound and Zabuza did the same to his. They were still staring at one another. Zabuza charged at Kimimaro and Kimimaro charged. The two clashed with their respective weapons causing sparks to fly at one another. Zabuza and Kimimaro were both hurting, but each other's eyes didn't show any signs of it. They both pushed each other off of one another and charged again, this time striking blows to one another. Zabuza kicked Kimimaro backwards and spun around. Windmill sword slash. Zabuza shouted ready to strike Kimimaro. Kagaya style. White Lotus spin. Kimimaro shouted doing the same thing. The two attacks hit both opponents. Zabuza dropped his sword and fell to one knee. Kimimaro fell to both of his knees and began to cough up blood. They both looked at one another when they both heard the clapping of one Uzumaki Naruto. Applaud. Applaud. You both put on a good show. No offense, Kimimaro. You have been beaten today, Zabuza. You don't have anyone that can beat me. Kimimaro, that was an excellent fight that you put together, and you didn't even need the cursed seal, Naruto said. I knew this job wasn't what it was cracked up to be, Zabuza said. Naruto looked at Zabuza with cold eyes. Tell me who hired you guys because I have a feeling that this isn't an assassination attempt, Naruto said. We were hired to dash. Zabuza passed out before he could finish. Damn. I need to get them to a hospital, and I don't think that there is one here. Oh well, the hotel room will do. I hope, Naruto said and created some shadow clones and ordered them to pick up the wounded. On the outskirts of town, Naruto and his band has defeated Zabuza. They are truly strong, Kisame said. Naruto would have killed him, no doubt about it. Kimimaro was at a disadvantage to begin with. We will have to be careful when dealing with them, Itachi said. I still don't see why we have to actually capture him. From what you have told me, isn't the QB dead, so wouldn't this be a waste of time? Kisame asked. Yes, but seeing as though our leader doesn't seem to understand that and Conan isn't really trying to do anything about that, then all we can do is continue to follow the blind, Itachi said. Kisame was about to let out a chuckle but remembered the last time that he made a joke about that. Anyways, knowing Naruto, do you think that he will get Zabuza to join? Kisame asked. I would be more surprised if he didn't get him to join, Itachi said. Well, I say that we join this kid. I have a bad feeling about our little company and who really has power in it, and I think it just might be a little masked retard or that homo snake in the grass, Kisame said. I have no doubt in my mind about that as well, but Pain is the one that I will follow on the account that he hasn't sent us to death. But you are right, this is beginning to get out of hand. Sasori and Deidara are feeling the exact same way. We will report back to base and try to get Conan and Zetsu to tell us the deal about the role of power, Itachi said. Yes, and if one of those bitches hold the true cards dash, then I will personally see that they are destroyed. In the years we have been there, I have never seen anything like this ever. It feels just like Konoha. Secrets shouldn't be kept now, and if they are then it could mean our deaths, Itachi said and walked away. Amen to that, Kisame said and followed him. Zabuza woke up and found himself in a hotel room with his arm in a cast and bandages all over his body. He saw Haku sleep and the demon brothers in beds as well. He then saw Naruto awake as if he hadn't slept in hours and desperately needed to. Zabuza jumped up in surprise, but Naruto didn't even move. Finally awake. Me and your little servant girl had to take almost 3 hours to heal you and Kimimaro. Now can you tell me if we're sent by Mist Village or not? Naruto said. No, I haven't been a ninja for the Mist in almost 8 years. Maybe more, maybe less. I don't even know who hired me. Some organization, Zabuza said. An organization? I wouldn't know anything about that. I haven't had that many enemies just yet, so I shouldn't have any secret cults after me, Naruto said. I don't know, kid. I assumed that this would be a simple assignment since it was only a delivery mission. Well, that is what they called it. We are missing ninja, so of course we took the job. Don't ask questions, and we get paid. I, of course, didn't know that you had a Kagaya with you, Zabuza said. Missing ninja from the mist. I haven't been near the water country yet, so tell me about the mist, Naruto said. Huh? And why should I do that? I don't even know if you will kill me or not, Zabuza said. I won't kill you. You all didn't. Well, you and the girl didn't even pull your best in your fight. You both underestimated both of your opponents, and they stood no chance against me no matter what they did. Look, what I am trying to say is that I am making a village, and I want you to be part of our little band of renegades. Naruto said, You're the leader, aren't you? Zabuza said, Yes. I come from the village of the Hidden Leaves. I am the holder of the Kyubi no Kitsune, and I have been treated worse than the worst garbage. My first servant and girlfriend is the only one that saw me for something. Someone that she would die for me at any moment's notice. Her and a few others want to see Konoha burned to the ground for the acts that were caused against me. Now that I have seen some of the villages and seen people like me, I want to create a village that will not be based off of hatred. I don't have any loyalty towards Konoha. I will be a ninja for that village only because my mother said it would be a good idea. He paused to see if Zabuza understood, and by the look of keep going, he continued. Now as to why I want you and your group to join, you all have credibility that I desperately need to get stuff done without being known as bandits and destroying stuff, Naruto said. I suppose if you can help me with something, Zabuza said. What is it? I want help taking over the Mist Village. That place is our home, and we have watched it become nothing more than a war ground based off of hatred and despair. After the surprise attack of the Kagaya, the Mizukage decided that it was time to destroy everyone with a bloodline. After the raid of the Kagaya, it seemed logical since they were going to destroy the village and made deals with other clans to take over the Mist. So we destroy those clans in a civil war. There were only 3 clans that were making plans with the traitorous clan. After they were gone, there was no point in it to continue. But the Mizukage didn't believe that and sent in his secret armies to destroy anyone with a bloodline limit. He banned any other country from coming to aid, and anyone from any other country had to return immediately. It was a massacre. The 7 swordsmen broke up because of that. 3 still showed loyalty to the Mizukage, and the other 4 attempted to kill him. We failed and had to run. That is when I found Haku, who had the bloodline to control water and ice. She is my weapon and my daughter. The demon brothers, well, they tagged along for the ride since they knew me, and now we are here, Zabuza said. That was very interesting. Tell me, this was the 2nd or 3rd Mizukage? Naruto asked. The 3rd. Why? He responded, Oh, no reason. I thought that maybe there was a pattern, but never mind. Anyways, wait till your people wake up and talk about it, and tell me your decision. We will be leaving in a week, so you have until then. I will help you with your dreams if you help me with mine. It's up to you to believe me, Naruto said. Disclosed area of the Rain Country. They have failed, huh? The head shadow said. Yes, Leader-sama. Itachi said. This is impossible. The boy isn't that strong. A man named Zetsu said. They're that strong. Naruto beat the demon brothers with no difficulty. The Kaguya and that summoner fights were draws, and that is without your cursed seal marks Orochimaru, Itachi said calmly. They are stronger than I thought to not use the power. Leader-sama, I will go and capture the Kyuubi brat. I'm aware that 2 little bugs are with him, and me and Kabuto will be able to handle them both as well as the Kyuubi. They shouldn't be so difficult now that I know what their numbers are, Orochimaru said. Yes, but Zabuza and his group will join with them as soon as he is healed. They will leave and go somewhere else soon, so you should get him as soon as possible, Itachi said. Find Toby, go with him, and make sure everything goes smoothly. Kakuzu, Haiden, Konan, Sasori, Deidara, Itachi, and Kisame stay here and wait for orders, Pain said. Everyone nodded and disappeared. Okay, Orochimaru and Toby going to collect the Nine Tails. What the hell is going on? Deidara shouted. I don't know, but we must find Konan and get some fucking answers immediately. She will be the most straightforward. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it seems the power is not where it belongs, Itachi said. At this rate, we will fail because of this, Sasori said. I still say we join up with the Dash. Join with who? Konan said as she appeared from paper. What the hell, Konan, you are always scaring us like that, Deidara said. Quiet now, what is going on? Konan asked. We wanted to ask you a few questions, Itachi asked. Fine, I guess, Konan replied. All right, what is going on with Leader-sama? He is growing more and more tired with us, but is giving the bigger missions to Orochimaru and Toby. They are the weakest of all of us. I don't see why they are getting anything, as it is seeing as Orochimaru tried to betray us, and the leader said it was all part of his plan, Sasori said. Sasori-kun is right. Toby is an idiot and Orochimaru is a faggot, Deidara said. Pain-sama is just doing what he feels is best, Konan lied calmly. What he feels is best? Bullshit. 3 years ago, he wouldn't trust getting water from these bakas, but now he is sending them both after the Kyuubi vessel? I don't be Dash. Look, if you don't like it, take it up with Pain-sama. Until then, be quiet, Konan said. We have Konan-san, and if you don't remember, the last time we confronted him, we were almost killed. All we want to know is who the real leader is. He has been taking advice from both Toby and Orochimaru, and the same goes for Kakuzu and Haiden. Something doesn't feel right, and I want to know what it is, Itachi said. Yes, we are not here to follow fools, we are here to follow someone who can actually lead us, and Leader-sama is the only one that we all will listen to. Sasori followed. Konan let out a sigh. All right, look, I will try to talk to Pain-sama. He will at least listen to me more so than both of them, Konan said. That is all we wanted. I will be seeing you all later, Itachi said. Everyone nodded to Konan and disappeared as well. Pain, your people are falling apart. What the hell are you doing? She asked herself, and went to look for her best friend. Pain-sama, please, what the hell are you doing? Everyone is starting to be annoyed about the rising power that Orochimaru and Toby has, Konan said, making it clear just who he was giving power to, but it fell on deaf ears. They are starting to become angry at them both, and are starting to get angry at you as well. Pain, please tell me what you were thinking about. What the hell you were doing? Konan asked. It is all for the master. I will. The master? What the hell are you talking about? Pain, listen to me. Nagato, listen to me. Konan shouted. Pain gave her an angry look and grabbed her by the throat. Don't you ever call me by that name. Pain shouted at her. He then threw her down. Konan looked at Pain with a sad look in her eyes. Fine, but I warn you, Pain-sama, the ones that are loyal to you will be with you for the long run, but if you continue this road, then you will lose them, Konan said and walked away. In Konoha, the last place I heard about him was in Suna, and that was a month ago. He had beaten the Jinchuriki Gaara using fire jutsu. He then fixed his seal. The boy is a seal master. I talked to the Kazekage, and he said that he was going to the Rain Country. I don't know what he was doing there, but he was with 2 of Orochimaru's top servant Kaguya Kimimaro and a girl that goes by the name of Tayuya. They are not with Orochimaru anymore, but I don't know how they got in the same group, Jiraiya said. Do you think that you can go pick up Tsunade and go check up on him? I haven't gotten any notes from him, and Rain Country hasn't been in contact with us in the past 8 years, and from what I have heard, it is plagued with missing ninja, including one Rokushu Aoi, the man that stole the Nidame's sword, the Raijin. I want Naruto back in the Fire Country so that it would be much easier to keep our eyes on him. We were barely able to find him in the deserts of the Wind Country. Now he is in Rain. It's not like he's dead. I mean, he is safe, Jiraiya said. Well, still getting to get back in Fire Country and get Tsunade to help you on Hokage's orders, or so help me, I will make sure that every debt she has in Fire Country is tripled, Sarutobi said. Fine. Fine, I will go find him, Jiraiya said. Naruto, what are you doing? Sarutobi thought as he looked out at the fourth's face. With Naruto, a week later, Naruto and his new group was in the forest of the Rain Country. It had been a week since the big showdown and Zabuza and company decided to join. They would help in exchange for his help. Kimimaro, at first, had objections, but they fell on deaf ears. So they don't talk whatsoever. Naruto ordered both of them not to talk and not to fight. Haku and Tayuya were friends and enjoyed messing Naruto when they got the chance. Naruto would use that to practice hiding his emotions better. Melina was still training him and showing him the ropes of being a leader and how to use his demon chakra better. Damn, is it just me, or do you all have the feeling we are being watched? Naruto asked. Yes, I have a bad feeling about this, Zabuza said. Kimimaro stayed silent as well as Tayuya. Tayuya began to shake violently. In Naruto-san, we need to leave, she said as her cursed seal began to act up and hurt her. Kimimaro did the same thing, but more violently. It also forced him to cough blood violently. Kimimaro-kun, Tayuya-chan, how nice it is to see you again, a voice said in the shadows, causing Tayuya to cringe and Kimimaro to grit his teeth in pure anger and hatred worse than anything Zabuza could ever do. Orochimaru. Both of them shouted. Ah, to remember Orochimaru-sama and not your dear friend is so sad, another voice said. A boy appeared from behind Orochimaru. He had on a pair of glasses and had silver hair. He had on a purple vest and a silver shirt and purple pants. He had an evil, deadly aura around him and a small evil smirk on his face. Hey, wait, I know you. Your name was Kabuto. I've seen you around the village. You were a spy. Naruto asked, quite shocked since him and his team couldn't do a damn mission to save their lives. Kabuto let out a smirk and then a laugh. It seems that my reputation is higher than yours, Orochimaru-sama, Kabuto said as he laughed. Oh, it's not that. I just can't wait to give your head to Ankone-chan. She has been begging to see your head on a silver platter. I will personally deliver it to her, Naruto said calmly and made 2 flame whips appear in his hand. Me, Zabuza, and Kimimaro will destroy Orochimaru. You 4 can handle the snake's pet, right? Naruto asked. Everyone nodded, but Orochimaru shook his head. Who said that it was only us 2? You need to do better at looking around, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said. Oh, don't worry. I know all about the masked man and the flower guy, but they aren't an issue right now. I will try to make this fight as short as. Suddenly, Naruto stopped talking and fell to the ground. Naruto, tell everyone to run. Uchiha Madara is somewhere around here. I can feel his blood, and it is making mine boil. Naruto, please leave this place. Get your friends and leave this dash. Melina was quiet as she saw Naruto had someone standing beside him. Well, Melina-chan, it has been so long. I wish that I could stay, but I need to take you out of this body and into another one, Madara said. What the hell, how did you get in here? Naruto asked. Oh, Naruto, you underestimate my power. It's a shame that you must die, Madara said and knocked Naruto down. In the real world, Naruto was holding his head screaming and then fell to the ground unconscious. Naruto, everyone shouted. Then Tobi appeared from nowhere. It is a shame. This was so easy, Tobi said and picked up Naruto. The group started to give chase but were stopped by Orochimaru and Kabuto. We are truly sorry, but we can't let you pass, Orochimaru said. Let us pass, you fucking bastard, Tayuya shouted. Oh, and what will you do, run? Kabuto said. Zabuza, go after Naruto. Me and Tayuya will fight the snake, Kimimaro said. All right, kid, but let's make this fast. Naruto's life is at stake, Zabuza said. All right, go, he said, and they all disappeared. Oh, so you do want to play? Well then let's play, Orochimaru said and disappeared as well. Pathetic. You 2 were never real Odo ninja. You lack the hatred that is needed to be in the sound, Orochimaru said. No. You betrayed us both. You wanted to kill Tayuya, and when I said something about it, you wanted to kill me as well. Today you will die, Kimimaro said. Oh really? Then come on, show me what you 2 can do, Orochimaru said. Kimimaro pulled a bone from his shoulder and Tayuya took out her flute. Orochimaru had a smirk on his face and Kimimaro charged at him. Kimimaro tried to slash Orochimaru in the face while Tayuya prepared for her great breakthrough technique. Orochimaru ducked the strike by Kimimaro and kicked him in the stomach. Kimimaro slid back and jumped up as Tayuya used the attack. Orochimaru wasn't even after affected by the wind jutsu and ran towards her and punched Tayuya in the stomach. He then spun kick her into a tree. Kimimaro came and hit Orochimaru into a tree, but he jumped off the branch. Kimimaro spun kick at Orochimaru, and he blocked with ease. Orochimaru punched Kimimaro in the stomach, and Kimimaro used his bones to block. Tayuya had recovered and summoned her Doki. The three demons began to help Kimimaro and was using their numbers to try to win. Orochimaru let out a chuckle and created shadow clones. The worm Doki hit the shadow clone. "Huh, fool," he said, and the shadow clone exploded. Tayuya played another song, Futon, slashing wind assault, she said. A giant wind scythe formed in the sky and hit Orochimaru, cutting him in half, but it turned into smoke. Kimimaro and the other Doki destroyed the last two shadow clones. "Kukukuku, you have gotten better to be able to at least make me a Sajutsu without going into your first form, but," he said and used a hand seal. "I am still your master," he said and created a fireball. It caused everyone to scatter. Orochimaru took advantage of it and punched Kimimaro in the stomach and followed up with two hooks to the jaw and a crushing uppercut. He then disappeared and reappeared in front of Tayuya, so fast. She thought as he kicked her in the head. "You dared to bite the hand that fed you, now you shall die with that wasted one." "Kimimaro-kun," Orochimaru said and pulled out his sword. Kimimaro began to feel darkened power swirl around him. "I don't wanna, but I must," he thought as he began to accept the power. Tayuya got off the ground. She saw that Kimimaro's seal was activated. "Playtime's over, huh? Okay, I will have to push it to my all," she thought, and let the darkness flow throughout her. The first level of their cursed seal was activated. Kimimaro's bones felt more smoother and relaxed throughout his body and more powerful. Tayuya and her Doki felt more in sync. They felt the power coursing through them as well. Orochimaru let out a small chuckle. "And here I thought that you hated me." "I am glad that you were kind enough to keep my small gifts," Orochimaru said. "Orochimaru, you will not leave here alive," Kimimaro said and pointed his fingers at Orochimaru. 10-finger drilling bullets," Kimimaro said and shot 10 bullets at Orochimaru. He dodged and jumped over the bullets and cut one in half. "You know that the Kusanagi will cut through your bones," Orochimaru taunted. Tayuya began to play a tune. The Doki began to attack Orochimaru and forced Orochimaru to move, and Kimimaro stabbed his arm, but Orochimaru seemed unaffected. Kimimaro and Tayuya's biggest Doki used his spiked bat and Kimimaro's bone sword to slice the snake Sannin in half. Orochimaru screamed, then let out a laugh as he melted in mud. "What the fuck?" Tayuya shouted and saw that Orochimaru was over Kimimaro. "Kimimaro, look out!" She shouted and used her strongest Doki to throw her in front of Kimimaro. "Silent snake strike," Orochimaru said and was going to move straight through Kimimaro. Kimimaro tried to block, but it far too late. All he could do was close his eyes and wait. He felt blood touch him, but realized it wasn't his. Tayuya had a massive cut going through her chest, but it wasn't deep enough to kill her on contact. Tayuya," Kimimaro said, shocked and terrified at what she had done. That was for, cough, rescuing me," Tayuya said and passed out. "Ha ha ha ha. It looks like the damage has been done," Orochimaru said. He then felt a mass chakra spike that he recognized. "Damn. Sorry, Kimimaro-kun. I would love to finish off that failure, but I need to get out of here. I would suggest that you get that healed. She has only a few hours to live. You know the feature of my special sword." "Ta-ta for now," Orochimaru said. "I will kill you, bitch." Kimimaro shouted and began to go into the second form, but by then Orochimaru was gone. Kimimaro ran to Tayuya. "Come on, Tayuya, you can't die." "Not yet," Kimimaro said. Suddenly he felt 6 chakra sources coming from the clearing. He recognized Zabuza, Haku, and the Demon Brothers. The other two were vaguely familiar. "Damn, they got away from us. What the hell?" Zabuza said. "Orochimaru, Haku, can you heal her?" Kimimaro asked. "She was poisoned." "By what?" Haku asked, checking the wound. "The Kusanagi," Kimimaro replied. "The long sword of heaven? The sword of the poison grass clan?" "There isn't anyone that can heal a wound like that," Gozu said. "Anyone except me, of course," the female with a green robe and blonde ponytails said. She was most known for her giant chest. "You are right, Tsunade. You have had many moments healing wounds from that sword." A man with long white hair and weird-looking red clothes and markings on his face. "Wait a moment. The other Sannin, Jiraiya, and Tsunade. What the hell are you two doing here?" Kimimaro said, repressing the cursed seal. "That isn't the point, just be happy we arrived as we did, or your friend would have died," Tsunade said. "Whatever. The faster we get her healed, the faster we can go rescue Naruto," Zabuza said. "And Naruto? What happened to him?" Jiraiya said. "He was captured by a weird masked guy in Orochimaru," Kimimaro said. "What?" Jiraiya shouted. That was why we were running and fighting that glasses guy, you stupid motherfuckers. You attacked us for attacking a traitor to the Leaf Village. Zabuza said. How the hell were we supposed to know that? Now shut the hell up so I can concentrate, Tsunade asked as she began to heal Tayuya. You helped Kabuto escape? Damn. This isn't good, we must hurry, Kimimaro said. I wonder if this is the work of this Akatsuki. Akatsuki. Orochimaru was banned from that group for a long while. How will he dash? I don't know. He must have been much more ahead of me, and that screwed us up big time, Jiraiya said. At any rate, we have to set up camp and try to find Naruto in the morning, Zabuza said. Everyone nodded and prepared for a long night. Oh hell no. No fucking way. How the hell did you capture the brat? Deidara shouted as she jumped in Tobi's face. Yes, tell me how you were able to capture him. This ought to be quite interesting, Sasori said as he grabbed Deidara. He just underestimated me, Tobi said. Fuck no. Deidara screamed. That is highly unlikely. Naruto, although has a tendency of jumping into battle carelessly, never ever underestimates anyone unless they are very below him. You had to have done something, Itachi said. Does it matter? We got the job done, and you couldn't, Orochimaru said. Yes, I don't see how hard capturing this brat was, Tobi said. They are right. You all have been slacking off, Pain said. Slacking? They did something to capture him. There is no way that the two weakest can pull that off unless they are hiding something. Deidara shouted. Pain gave her a hard look that caused her to fall to the ground, grasping in pain. Stop this now, Pain-sama. Conan shouted. The grip loosened and Sasori held her to try to make her feel better. We cannot do anything for a few days anyways. I will make the preparations, and in 3 days we will extract the QB, Pain said. Everyone gave Pain a hard look, but nodded, and walked away except for Orochimaru and Tobi. They are beginning to get suspicious of our actions. They don't know that we have him under our control, but they are beginning to know that we have the power, Orochimaru said. We will continue things as they are, Madara said. Yes, Madara-sama, Orochimaru said. After we seal the QB, continue the plans to destroy Konoha. Make sure that you put the seal on Sasuke. I need him for he is only one that matches me, but I need you to switch bodies for him to receive the power. I am sure that he still believes his brother killed the clan to test his power, Madara said. It seems so, although from what I have heard right now, he is being beaten by the Hyuga heiress in his class, Orochimaru said. More excellent. He will think he is weak and will be even more willing to come to us, Madara said and laughed evilly. We must be careful now, though. The other two Sannin are here. They have probably by now met up with the others and may be here before the sealing, Orochimaru informed Madara. It matters not. We will succeed and have our power. Madara laughed and disappeared along with Orochimaru. Both of them failed to notice the piece of paper that was sitting over their heads, so they are controlling everything. I must try to break their hold of him. But first, why did that boy look so familiar? Conan asked and walked back into the shadows.